What is up, everybody? Welcome back once again to Hot Toys Hotline Live. I see a bunch of people in the chat already. It's great to be back, guys. We took off last week. Something came up for a lot of us. A lot of us had something to do on the panel, and also last week was kind of boring, right? Not much to talk about. But all that matters is we're here, and you guys are with us. So thank you so much for being here. As you can see, guys, we have a new face over here. We got David with us. I very much appreciate David coming on. David and I have been chatting back and forth for a long time, it seems like, on Instagram. So I very much appreciate David coming on. David has an absolutely incredible collection. I was telling him before the stream started that he's one of the few people that I talk to that can feel my pain, quote unquote, when I'm buying all this stuff, because he really does have a tremendous collection. So David, it's great to have you on. I can't wait to hear your thoughts on some of this new stuff, because once again, guys, David, he's no stranger to Hot Toys. He's got some really incredible stuff in his collection. A lot of stuff he sends to me, and I'm just like, damn, I want that. So, David, it's great to have you on, man.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be on. And like we were talking about earlier, we're in the dog days of summer, and let's get to it.
Yeah, for sure. Before we get started, guys, as always, I'm going to say what's up to some people in the chat, and then we're going to get right into it. There's actually a lot of releases this week. You know, Hot Toys was on their release game this week. I guess they figured all that exciting stuff that they showed us for the recent event in Hong Kong, they decided to start releasing some stuff. So we do have a lot of releases this week that we're going to take a look at. But let's say what's up to some people in the chat. Guys, also, Chris Collecting Madness will be here. He's running a little late. UPS treated him dirty today, and then Sean will be here as well. And guys, I hope we all can wish well wishes to Lane. Lane is having a small procedure done today, so best of luck to Lane. And I know he's here in spirit. But let's say what's up some people in the chat. We have Sluggin16 here very early in the chat. Sluggin16 says, "Good evening, everyone." Excuse me. Good evening, Hotline crew and fellow collectors. Good evening to you, bro. Thank you so much for being here so early. I know Insane One was here as well right before you, but his comment got pushed down. So Insane One, I'm sure you're here in the chat. Thank you so much for being here, gentlemen. I very much appreciate you. We have Payden23 in the chat, one of our great moderators, along with Insane One. Payden says, "Good evening, everyone." Well, good evening to you, Payden. Always great to have you here, my friend. I hope you're doing well, and I'm excited to hear your thoughts on all this crazy stuff that got released this week. We have Ty in the chat. By the way, thank you so much, Ty, for being a moderator on the channel. I saw you kind of putting in work in the Facebook group, and we've been friends for a while now, so I was like, you know what? It's only right that Ty becomes a moderator on the Facebook group and in the YouTube. So thank you so much, Ty, for helping us out. Ty says, "Hi, all. Good to see you." Good to see you, of course, as always, Ty. And thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. Let's see who else got here. We have Kaiju Daddy. So I was actually talking to Kaiju before the stream started. I'm trying to get Kaiju on. I know Kaiju moved to the U.S. and now he's back overseas. So we're going to work something out. I know he's been trying to get on for a while, but the time zone difference is pretty rough. But we're going to figure it out. And as always, guys, check out Kaiju Daddy's channel. He does some great stuff. I especially love all the different tours that he does of all the different toy stores in Japan. It's very interesting, and some of them I actually bought from before. So it's really cool to see all of their stock as he's walking around showing it off. So definitely check out his channel. Mike is here. What's up, Mike? Mike is another one. We're going to have him on the channel here eventually. I know Mike and I have been chatting back and forth. Mike always hits me up when he buys something crazy. So it's great to have you here, Mike, and I hope you're doing well. We have Carlito in the chat. Carlito says, "Evening, everyone." And Carlito, it's so great to have you here as always. I hope you're doing well. I very much appreciate you. And Carlito did something very nice for me earlier, and we were chatting about it. And I'll share it with you guys when it shows up. But I very much appreciate you, Carlito. Let's see who else we got here. Sorry, guys, I'm just scrolling through. Boba Fettuccine is here. Boba, if I remember correctly, someone told me that you were on a stream the other day. I didn't know you were a streamer, Boba. But great to have you here as always. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. And maybe, Boba, maybe we got to pull you in one day, because I had no idea. I had no idea you were a streamer. So awesome to hear, and I hope you're doing well, my friend. Thick Bantha Boy is here. He says, "Finally, it's back, the Thursday Hot Toys Hotline stream." Yes, once again, we took a break last week, but we're here. And I'm very much appreciative that you all are hanging out with us. So thank you so much for being here. Thick Bantha Boy, I very much appreciate it. Let's see who else we got. And Kaiju says a whole lot to say. Dude, it would have been great to have you on. You know, I think a lot of people have a lot of stuff to say about that Spider-Man. I have my opinion. I wish Ryan was coming on tonight, because he had a lot to say. I'm sure you guys saw him in the Hot Toys comments, but maybe he'll pop in. Who knows? We have CSI. CSI, I'm surprised you're not giving me the Cold Toys hotline joke in the chat from taking off last week. But CSI says, "Sup, collectors? What's up, CSI? I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for being here." Well, there you go, David. You got a fellow Dolphins fan. HG says, "Let's go Dolphins." Well, there you go. A fellow Dolphins fan in the chat. Kaiju has a question for you, David. Kaiju says, "David, is that the DX9 Omega Supreme or the fan toys?"
It is the DX9, in my opinion. I just like the DX9 a little bit better. The hips and the legs were a little bit sturdier, if you will, but I'm a huge fan of fans toys as well.
So there you go, Kaiju. A lot of interesting stuff there, David, and a lot of it I obviously have no idea what it is. So maybe one day we'll have to chat about it because I'm not versed at all with those companies, but very cool. Of course, Big Dog Pound, I'm so sorry. Collecting Mattis is not here, but don't you worry. When he gets here, I'll make sure he gives you a proper welcome. But what's up, Big Dog Pound? I hope you're doing well. And of course, I got to give you one. Not as good as Chris, but woo! What's up, Big Dog Pound? It's always great to have you here, bro. And Violet's Geekdom is here. What's up, Violet? By the way, guys, Violet, I didn't tell you either. I did film the giveaway video. So, guys, we do have a giveaway going up on the channel. Hopefully, I'll be posting it probably tomorrow. I was going to put it at the end of a review, but I'm like, you know what? Let me give it its own video. So we will be doing a giveaway courtesy of Ash and Violet. So thank you so much, Violet. And also thank you so much for being here. I very much appreciate it. We have Facebook user. By the way, Facebook user, I can't see your name. There is a description on the stream on Facebook that tells you how to show your name if you would like to. But thank you so much for being here. Regardless, I hope you're doing well. I very much appreciate you hanging out with us. We have Sid Vicious in the chat. Sid Vicious says, "What's up? What's up to you, Sid Vicious? I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for being here. Have I missed anybody?" Maximum Rex is here. What's up, Maximum Rex? And Doug Gambino. I can't miss Doug Gambino. What's up, my friend? I hope you're doing well. But guys, we're going to get right into it. Again, we have a lot of releases this week. This one is going to be very interesting to talk about because I did see something posted on Facebook that I kind of wanted to talk about alongside of it. But what I'm talking about is the D100 Iron Man. Now, let me make us a little bit bigger because we're kind of small here. But yeah, guys, the D100 Iron Man. Now, guys in the chat, I'm very curious to hear how many of you had an opportunity to pick this up. Me personally, I wasn't able to get this through Sideshow. This one was pretty rough, so unfortunately, I missed out on Sideshow. However, I always got to give a shout out to my friend Jeremy Casa from Plastic Hero Collectibles. He was able to get this for me. This is actually how I originally came across Jeremy Casa. He was able to pick this up for me. And there's a link in the description, guys, for exclusives or really anything that you're trying to find. He really offers very fair prices, and I tell you, he can find anything. I promise you. Everything I've ever asked him for, he's been able to find it. Sometimes it takes a little time, but he can find it. So that's who I was able to get mine through. But nonetheless, guys, I'm pretty excited for this. I know a lot of people are probably falling asleep looking at this because it's just another repainted Iron Man. But there's two things with this one that kind of made it worth it for me. Number one, I'm a big fan of Disney, and being that it's a Disney 100 celebration figure, that definitely spoke to me personally. So I think it's really cool. And then the second thing is it's the Mark 7. And you guys know, if you've been watching the channel for a bit, you guys know the Mark 7 is my baby. I love the Mark 7. It's my favorite Iron Man suit. So it really ticked all the boxes. But with that being said, for most people, guys, there's a lot of reasons why people wouldn't pick this one up. Number one, it's going to be very expensive in the secondary market. And we're going to take a look at that before we move on to the next topic. It's going to be very expensive. It's a limited piece. It was kind of hard to get. Especially through Sideshow. I know you guys know that was pretty rough, and I wasn't able to get it because it was a lottery, obviously. So those of you that did get the lottery, congratulations. I think I remember Payton. If I remember correctly, Payton, I think you actually got lucky and hit on the lottery and you passed on it because it wasn't something that was really for you. But yeah, I think it looks good, guys. Do I think the backdrop is a little cheap? Yeah, it's kind of that thin, cheap plastic that we saw, kind of like with the Iron Man shield. With the Mark 85, that Mark 85 battle damage Iron Man shield is kind of the same material, that kind of clamshell plastic. It's a little cheap, but I think the overall presentation is really nice. And I do love the kind of Marvel front plate with all the different characters in the font. I think that's really cool. Overall, I think it looks pretty decent. But again, I could see why a lot of people would pass on this one. David, I'm curious if this is one that you were interested in at all, and kind of one of your thoughts. Obviously, it is another Iron Man. We know that Hot Toys has been pretty consistent with doing a great job with the die-cast Iron Man figures, but is this something that hit your radar at all?
So I can dig it for what it is. It was a little bit of a surprise with the 100th on the Disney factor, in my opinion. Like you, I've got the Mark 7 and die-cast already, so it's going to be a skip for me. but I can appreciate it for what it is. And I'm with you, man. I mean, some bases are cooler than others. Like, I have the Moon Knight, and I can dig the Crescent, if you will.
Yeah.
But the this one here, not the biggest fan of like a too gaudy of a backdrop, if you will. But I mean, the Mark 7, what can you say? I mean, it aesthetically speaking is beautiful. So
yeah, it's funny you mentioned that Moon Knight Crescent, because I was pleasantly surprised by that, because it is styrofoam, right? But it's also very sturdy, like dense styrofoam. So it didn't feel cheap to me. It felt like this is the best they could do to kind of cut the cost down, but still offer us something that's decent quality. So I think that's a great point that you bring that up, because I kind of was very surprised by that when I got Moon Knight in. And that's a fantastic figure, by the way. I think we briefly talked about it because you sent me some photos the other day. The cape, dude, is godly. Like that is crazy.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, I love Moon Knight, by the way. I mean, my first introduction to Moon Knight was probably in the late '80s. I think he was in an Amazing Spider-Man comic, and I'm like, who's this dude? And kind of always liked him since then. But the base is kind of a space eater, right? I'm not the biggest fan of the base footprint, but I really like the moon, man. It's a cool vibe. Yeah.
Me too. I totally agree. And by the way, Stevie Weeby is here. What's up, Stevie Weeby? He says, all dem boys is her. I see all you guys talking in the chat. Julio is here. Julio says, what's up, mofos? It's been a minute. Hope all is well. We hope all is well with you. And yes, it's great to be back, and it's awesome to be talking with you all. And it's great to have David on finally. I'm so happy to have David here. Absolutely, man. Maximum Rex says, I passed on this, but got a waitlist conversion for the timed Mark III exclusive. Hey, you lose one and you win one, right? And that Mark III exclusive is coming home. You guys know I have this dream to build the original 7 armors. That's where my heart lies. I do have the Mark 50 and the Mark 85, Mark 43, what have you, but I love the original 7. And like David said, like the Mark 7 is just gorgeous. I love the bulkiness to the suit. It kind of has that nod to the original comic suit where it's a bit bulkier. It doesn't have that streamlined, like fancy tech look like the newer suits have. So yeah, I have that dream to build the original Mark 7, original 7 suits. And it's slowly coming true, right? All we need is that Mark 2 and that Mark 4, and I'm good to go. We got the Mark 6 recently. So, but yeah, this is really cool. But again, I could see a lot of people passing on this one. Bantha Boy says this figure also spoke to my being. But Sideshow said, hell no, you ain't getting one. Yeah, that was rough, man. I got to be honest with you. And I've told you guys before, I'm not a big fan of the lottery thing. I personally, if I had to say, I would say stick to what they're doing now, because imagine, guys, they do a lottery with the Anakin. A lot of people are going to be a little upset because, how many people are going to create extra accounts? How many people are going to enter that lottery over and over again? It's going to be rough. So I think, and we're going to talk about, of course, the launch on Sideshow for the pre-order for those artisan figures. But I think I'm happy that they've gone in the direction that they're going with the way the website works now. I'm definitely a fan of that queue system. So, but hey, Bantha Boy, never say never. You may find one, or maybe Sideshow will randomly convert some waitlist. You never know. They just did that recently. I don't know if you guys saw. Sideshow converted some waitlist for that Endgame Stealth Suit 2.0 cap out of nowhere. And it wasn't just 1 or 2. I saw at least like 5 or 6 people post saying they got one. So don't know what was up with that. I don't know if they got a pool of cancellations and they just grabbed from that pool all at one time. I'm guessing that's what happened, but who knows? Because that was one that was very limited, and a lot of people weren't able to get that one. So you never know. OG Fan is in the building. OG Fan says, hello, everyone. Hello to you, OG Fan. Another one of our fantastic moderators. Thank you so much for being here, OG, and I hope you're doing well, my friend. Carlito says, I caved and got it on the aftermarket. Wasn't too terrible. 150 over retail. Love the paint job and the base. Couldn't pass it up. And yeah, of course, like we said, it's not going to speak to everyone, but this one definitely spoke to me for various reasons. But again, this is one I would never sweat if I missed out on. It was just one that kind of made sense for me to have. But I think you'll be happy with the 150 over retail after we take a look at what it's starting to go for on eBay. Let's see. Sorry, I'm kind of scrolling through your comments, guys. Thick Bantha Boy says hot toy with a whack ass cheap arse background / drop. They would never. I mean, it's nice to see that they're starting to get a little bit better with most of their display bases. It is interesting that like the WB 100 Wonder Woman and this one both had that weird like cheap plastic. What are you going to do? They're going to cheap out where they can. even though this is a very expensive figure, even at retail. So, but yeah, not really much else to say about it. I think it looks great. I do want to take a look at the box real quick because it kind of briefly flashed at the beginning, I think. Yeah, it was very brief. Before we move on, I just want to say what you want about the figure, but that is a beautiful box. I'm not like a big box person, but I think it's really cool. So again, being that it's a Disney 100 thing, that just speaks to me, that Disney 100 logo. But definitely very cool. And real quick, guys, before we move on from the Iron Man, I just want to show you really quickly what it's going for on eBay. And guys, as it always works with eBay, everything's always a bit inflated on eBay. You can get stuff much cheaper on Facebook. But just to show you what some people have already been willing to pay for this, and this is, of course, in hand. This is ready to ship. You have an $859 sold comp or best offer. It does not say best offer accepted, so that's what it's sold for. Not to mention, guys, you're paying taxes on top of that. This is over $900. $856 or best offer. It does not say best offer accepted. So only 2 sold comps so far. Obviously, it's at the height of its price right now because it's just starting to ship. So everybody's jumping on that on the FOMO and everything. But just showing you guys, people are willing to pay for limited stuff. And we've kind of seen that, obviously, like the cap and everything, they've kind of died down on the price. Arena Fett died down a little bit on the price, but still, for figures that are so new, selling for $350, $400, that's still, pretty impressive considering, all the other new stuff for the most part is down in the dumps. There's always exceptions, some stuff pops up and it holds its value or beyond that. But I thought that was interesting. Just wanted to show that to you guys. And as always, guys, once again, with eBay, if you want to see sold listings, make sure you check that sold listings box because this is actual sold listings, not what it's listed for. So definitely keep that in mind if you're new, especially when you're buying from eBay. Be very careful and pay attention to that. But next, guys, where are my Star Wars fans at? I know a lot of people have been saying, where's the Star Wars stuff? And, you can see behind me, I'm in my Star Wars collection room. I've been excited to see more Star Wars stuff. So finally, we got some more Star Wars stuff. We have a release of the R5D4 BD72, I think it is, and the Pit Droid. This one's really exciting for me. I actually wanted this one so badly that I bought 2 of them. I decided, like, hey, I want multiple Pit Droids. I'm going to be paying probably $80 plus for the Pit Droid on the secondary market. Why not get 2 and then throw the second R5 with my original trilogy display? So that's my plan for it. And I did talk with someone who has it in hand. Monica, shout out to Monica Monica said the Pit Droid is very sturdy, unbeknownst to most people, because, you look at it and, those of us that have the Battle Droid, it's kind of brittle. And a little loose in some spots, but he said the Pit Droid's very sturdy. He said it folds down in that collapsible pose very well. So that made me really excited to get these. I haven't had any shipping notifications. I got one from Sideshow, which I think I still have on a payment plan. The other one I have through Big Bad Toy Store, so I'll see that in a few years. But I'm really excited about this one, guys. I think it looks really good. I think there is a video from Sideshow that we'll check out, but I just think this is a really cool pack. A lot of us, and I've noticed a lot of the comments, a lot of people are big fans of droids. So it's always cool to get some more background characters, because I don't know about for you, David, but for me, I love to fill in my displays with those kind of obscure figures like that, like droids, or like I have the creature pack from Sideshow with my Boba Fett. To me, that kind of brings life to your display. And it kind of like stormtroopers and stuff too. A lot of people don't buy stormtroopers. They're like, I only buy named characters. That's how they kind of keep their costs down on their collecting. But for me, stuff like that kind of brings life to the display. So I'm curious, David, is this one that you ended up picking up? Or if you haven't picked it up, is it now on your radar after seeing the final product photos?
Oh, no, this thing's locked in, coming home, baby. I mean, I've got RTD2. I've got, a ton of stormtroopers. I love fleshing out the stormtroopers. And I've got that Cad Bane's in transit right now.
Dude, I heard he's incredible. I can't wait, man.
Can't wait. I mean, he looks like a badass. They actually kind of modeled him after Lee Van Cleef from the spaghetti westerns, if you will, if you recall, the Clint Eastwood western. So
Good, the Bad, the Ugly, man. That's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Dude, it's amazing, bro. And what they did, they found a happy medium with Cad Bane, in my opinion. Yeah, his brim doesn't have the radius as the the cartoon and whatnot, but
right.
It just fits. It's beautiful, man. Anything with the duster is badass. So I'm excited about it.
It's fun. It's funny that you put it like that. Anything, because is it wrong though? Anything with a duster is badass. All the
Yeah.
coolest characters have a duster, you know.
Yeah.
And
I want
I
a Rick
totally agree with
Deckard
that.
so bad, dude.
I know, man. It's funny because that Cad Bane, I think initially a lot of people expected not to want it, and then Sideshow, or excuse me, Hot Toys was like, surprise, you get Toto. So that roped in a whole group of fans from the Clone Wars, and yeah, we didn't get that kind of super wide, flat brimmed hat that he typically wears, but it's accurate to the Book of Boba Fett in many ways, from what I could tell. So I think it looks really good, and I'm really excited for that one too, dude. I think I still have like one payment left on mine,
Yeah.
but once that one ships, I'm gonna be totally ecstatic. I can't wait to open it up because it looks absolutely incredible, and all of these photos, especially like shout out to Ryan from Mr. Mom Collectibles. He took some really cool photos and made me very jealous of it. Real quick, though, I want to say what's up to Collector Joey. I hope you're doing well, Collector Joey. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. And guys, as always, check out Collector Joey's channel. I very much appreciate you hanging out with us. Let's see. I saw a couple. TX Boy, come on. I can't miss TX Boy. What's up, TX Boy? I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for stopping by. Let's see. Thick Bantha Boy says, you said HTH, the general Hot Toys motto, we're going to cheap out where we can. LOL, I'm fairly certain I heard Howie say that at his last HK event. Yeah, it's like where they can cheap out, they will, especially with the display bases. I think you hit the nail on the head, and I think David did as well. But I think they're getting better. As long as we have less sand footprints, I'm a happy guy, because let's get away from those sand footprints. I hate those. The DX artisan. I know, man. I know. It seems like with the newer pre-orders, Hot Toys, like, maybe we shouldn't use that base design again.
Yeah.
Thankfully, the droids didn't come with that, because they did that with IG-11. He came with a sand footprint base for a robot with square feet. So definitely very interesting. OG Fan says R5 is going to look sweet with 3PO and R2. And yeah, that was my realm of thinking. I'm like, I could fit him in with my original trilogy. You could really fit him in anywhere. It's a droid, guys. So it's like, if you don't have a heavy original trilogy display, if you don't have a Book of Boba Fett, Mando, whatever, he fits in anywhere. They're droids, guys. At the end of the day, they're droids. The universe is full of droids. So you can really have a ton of fun with these, ton of different posing options. I'm really excited to check these out. After seeing the final product photos too, the weathering is pretty incredible, in my opinion. As you could see, weathering throughout, there's kind of sand blasting towards the bottom. It just looks really good. I mean, I really have no complaints about it. And also, I think this one was relatively inexpensive. I think it was like in the $260 range for the pack. So really very fairly priced, in my opinion, for what you get. And it's a 3-pack, guys. I mean, how often do we get 3 packs from Hot Toys? It's hard enough to get a 2-pack lately. And all the ones that we always say are very obvious, they're not as obvious to Hot Toys, I guess, because we don't get that many 2-packs that often. But definitely really cool. And we have Cigars and Bacon in the chat. What's up, guys? Cigars appears very frequently on the channel here and on Geeking Out as well. Definitely check them out over on Geeking Out. But I hope you're doing well, Cigars. Great to have you here, my friend. TX Boy says the droids are fragile, not worth it for secondary prices. I think the KX is the only one that really holds its weight. Yeah, and to be honest with you, TX, I planned on doing a video like quickly comparing, and I don't know if you guys would like to see that. You guys can let me know in the chat. I was going to compare my K2SO to the KX Enforcer because I was very curious to see how similar they are. After just handling them individually, not side by side, it seems like basically the same figure, just with a bit of a repaint. So I'm very curious to see what they look like side by side, but I have a feeling they're almost identical. So if you're good with removing weathering and such, you may be able to make yourself a K2SO. Let's see. Mike says Big Bad sent my battle droids almost as quickly as size. Can't talk. So you might not be waiting that long. I hope so, dude. It's really hit or miss, right? Like I feel like with the 3.75 scale Star Wars stuff from them, they're pretty quick. But with 6 scale figures, for me at least, it's taken them a while. Maybe it's just the times that I've pre-ordered, I've been a little late. I don't know. I mean, I was late on the droid pack, so who knows? That was kind of a last ditch thing because I'm like, where can I get it a little cheaper before Sideshow sells out? And that's where I grabbed it from. But let's see. We got a lot of comments flooding in, guys. Sorry, I'm trying to get to them. Bantha Boy says, one of the only positives about that sand base to me is it looks pretty good. It has a tiny bit of weight, but yeah, they needed just the footprints. Hashtag IG-11. Yeah, it does look good, but it's like, and if you guys have those bases, it kind of predetermines where you can put the feet without it looking awkward. Because, like, I'm sure you've noticed, David, with that base, you can pose over it, but it just looks a little weird. Their feet are kind of hovering over the footprint. So I hope they ditch that design. It really sucks. I don't know why that was ever a thing. Sure, if they did it a couple times, whatever, but it just doesn't add anything for me. It doesn't add any sort of realism. And how cool would that base be if it was just that kind of lumpy sand design without the footprint? That problem solved, in my opinion.
Couldn't agree more, man.
Yeah, so it's a bit unfortunate they keep doing that, but I do want to check out a video real quick on these guys. We don't have to go through all the photos when we have a video because that's much more exciting in my opinion. Here we have a video, and I think it has already slowed down. Cool. But the interesting thing about this too is all of these figures fit in this tiny box, the same size as a normal figure. So that shows you how are they able to give us a 3-pack. I guess it made it easier on it. But again, guys, let me maximize this. Again, guys, I think the weathering looks great. And I was very happy to hear that the pit droid especially was not as brittle as a lot of people were expecting. I've heard the joints are relatively substantial for the size of the figure, and it just feels very quality. So a surprise to me for sure, because I do have the battle droids. I don't think the battle droids are cheap feeling by any means, but they definitely are like light. You know what I mean? And I've seen some people accidentally breaking the limbs, especially at the shoulder point. So regardless, you definitely want to be careful with these figures because they are mostly plastic. I don't know if the R5, I haven't read into it, if it has any die cast. Usually, surprisingly, they haven't mentioned that for the R2 and stuff. I'm not sure if this one has a die cast dome, but regardless, I think you have to be careful with these because they are mostly plastic. But that's the same thing with every hot toy. Be as careful as you can be with them. Yes, I know you're at Penn. I know you're very excited. Penn, did you only get one of these? Because I could see you buying multiple of these. I'm curious if you got one or two. Me, again, I mentioned it earlier. I don't know if you're in here. I got two because I wanted 2 pit droids. I love the pit droids. I've been waiting for them to do a pit droid in any fashion forever. Kaiju apparently is waiting for InArt. We'll wait for their release of the pit droid pack. But just a really cool set, guys. There's really not much else to say about it. I think they did a great job. Again, I haven't got my shipping notifications yet, but I'm sure some of you in the chat did because I know Sideshow started sending out their emails. But just an all-around really cool set that I'm definitely really excited to see in person. And I'm really curious to see what that pit droid is like in person because, again, it's supposed to be able to fold up to its tiny little collapsed form. So I'm really excited to check that out. And again, R5 looks great. Really no complaints about the R5. You guys know, or you may not know, the R5 was in the graveyard forever. It was on that Sideshow Coming Soon graveyard page forever. So it was so exciting to see this kind of dug from the grave and kind of revamped for a different medium, which is Book of Boba Fett. But still very cool. The original R5 has those shiny rainbow effect stickers around the head, but nonetheless, this is still really cool. And I could see a lot of people modifying this one to make it more accurate for the original trilogy. But next, guys, and David, I'm curious about this one with you because I know you mentioned earlier that you collect quarter scale. I do not collect quarter scale, so I'm very curious to hear your thoughts on this. And I will say, just looking at the photos, I think it's absolutely beautiful. But David, being a quarter scale collector, is this one that's going to end up in your collection?
So I've got about 7 or 8 quarter scale. I love them. I kind of treat them like statues, especially with statue prices going up and the shipping costs going up. So, Hot Toys quarter scale is where it's at for me. I mean, I've got the Mark 42 and the quarter scale Hot Toys, absolutely gorgeous. This is amazing. I'm tempted, right? I think I could do without that gantry, though, to be honest with you. But I mean, it's beautiful, man. It's beautiful.
And that was my next question for you is because, dude, that's a lot of real estate. And I think a lot of people don't really, especially, if you don't have any statues, it's hard to put that in perspective, how big it really is. But yeah, dude, the gantry is massive. It's going to take up a lot of space, but it looks really good. So are you tempted at all by the gantry? You're like, I'm going to save myself some space and money. I'm just going to go for the figure if I do end up getting it.
You know what? The base that came with the 42 has some of that, some of that aesthetics in it. And I love it. Right. But that's a little much for me. Yeah. I do have quite a few statues in my collection. And of course, they're kind of where the footprint allows them to be. So I don't really have the room for that. But I like that. I like the Mark IV for sure.
Yeah, and it's funny. When I see this, I'm like, Hot Toys, please. And guys, my dream set, I need the original 7. Hot Toys gave us the Mark IV gantry again, but it was neon tech. Like, come on, Hot Toys.
Yeah.
People will buy it. You know how it is. And I know everybody is probably saying to themselves, like, no, we don't want another Iron Man. But I do. let me finish my original 7, guys, and then we could say no more Iron Man. Let me finish my original 7. I would love to see them redo the 6 scale version of this. I'm very happy, though, for those who are quarter scale collectors, because I feel like quarter scales don't get enough love. Obviously, Hot Toys does them once in a blue moon. It seems like lately they've had more interest in them. You know, we had the Book of Boba Fett, Boba. You've got the Mark IV with Gantry. There's rumors that Mark II quarter scale is going to end up coming out for pre-order eventually. So who knows if that one's been shelved or not. But yeah, I would love to see this one in the Mark II, and then I could ride off into the sunset and have my.
I will confirm this, man. I mean, you know, I've got the new Book of Boba Fett quarter scale. I got Vader over there.
Yeah.
When you get in, you know, and I get it, right? You know, some folks are stuck on 1/6, but Hot Toys, when you get into that quarter scale, it's a whole different level. It is, you know, from the tailoring just to the joints and just everything about it is on a whole. It's like
a whole nother tier up, dude, for sure.
It is. You're only fooling yourself if you say it's not. It is, hands down, but it's just not for everyone. I get it. You know what I mean?
No, not at all. And we've said this, like the space requirements, the costs, that they're more expensive. But I think you said it really well. And I would have the exact same realm of thinking as you. I would much rather invest in quarter scale Hot Toys versus going the statue route, because a lot of my friends, like shout out to Cigars and Bacon. He was a big statue guy for a long time, still collects some statues, but not nearly as much. And he's told me like the shipping prices are getting absolutely astronomical. So it's like I could get a posable statue, you know, and it looks just like my 6 scale, and I could move it like my 6 scale. It definitely speaks to me. I wish I had the room for it. Now I've said this many times, if they do a 6 scale Anakin Skywalker, or excuse me, a quarter scale Anakin Skywalker, I'm done for. If they do a Luke Skywalker, I'm done for. I'd even be tempted if they magically decided to give us another quarter scale Return of the Jedi Vader. You know, there are things that would tempt me. As of right now, I'm staying out of it, but I think this is beautiful. We do have a super chat though from my friend Sluggin16. He says, "Hey Connor, thank you for helping me with my DeLorean. Not a lot like you. Thank you again." Thank you so much. I think there's plenty of people like me. You just got to find them, and I'm not perfect, but thank you so much. I very much appreciate that. Of course, we got to give you a super chat message, and I guess we should because Chris is not here yet. He will be. Why not bring Chris out for you guys? So here's a message from our favorite UPS guy. And thank you so much for the generous $5 donation. Slug and I very much appreciate that.
You got a super chat. Get a super chat.
A what?
A super chat.
Come on, I told you, I'm about tired of this super this and super that. I'm about to put my super foot in your... Oh, hey there. Almost didn't see you again. My son must have been talking about them super chats. Well, Hot Toys Hotline and I just want to say thank you very much. And whether it's rain, sleeting, or snow, we'll make sure we get your Hot Toys to you.
David, is that your first time seeing Chris's famous super chats here with his character? I don't know if you've seen him before, but
no, I've seen it several times before. It's fun. It cracks me up.
Yeah, he's definitely got us all beat. We all got our super chat. He's got us beat. I'm trying to get Lane to do one. I don't know what Lane's would be. And you know, everybody's messaging me on the side. They want me to dance because I made that stupid little video. I know Manny's not here. Manny, our boy Manny, some guy is not here tonight. His son's graduating from college. So congratulations to his son. But Manny's been trying to get me to do the Patrick Bateman dance. And I'm like, dude, you get me the raincoat, I'm down. So we'll see how that goes. Penn says the only quarter scale I'll be getting is that third-party Revenge of the Sith Obi-Wan. Penn, I know you are the ultimate Obi-Wan simp, as you call yourself. A lot of people were dogging on that one, including myself. But hey, I'm happy for you. I know that one was really special for you because it's another Obi-Wan for your collection. But yeah, and Big Dog Pound said it best for me. I don't have space. I'm running out. You know, David knows. You guys know I'm crazy. I buy too much. If you saw the stack of figures to my right here, you'd probably pass out. But that's a conversation for another day. But yeah, guys, I think these look really good. Or excuse me, I think this figure looks really good. As an overall set, I think it's going to take up a ton of space, but it looks really awesome. But it's nice that you have that option, right? You can get it with the gantry or without the gantry, correct? Am I correct, David? I can't remember.
You know what? I think this
or is it just the gantry? Did they do just the gantry? Is that what they did? I can't remember.
I think this one right here is, a bundled deal. I want to say that they released the 4 kind of by itself a little bit ago. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. But No, I got to look into that. I got to look into that.
Yeah. With quarter scale stuff, I get lost, but guys, definitely a really cool piece. We won't spend too much time on it, but I think it looks awesome and Hot Toys delivered. Now, what a lot of people want to talk about, including myself and David, we haven't talked about this at all. So I'm very curious to hear your thoughts on this piece. And someone said it right when they came in. So there is one without a gantry. Okay. Was it Carlito? I can't remember. I think you're right, David. I think there was a previously released version, but I can't remember exactly what they did. But Carlito said it is waitlisted. But guys, we're gonna talk about this Spider-Man 2099. So we'll get you up to speed real quick for those of you guys that don't know. This was originally announced as a fully plastic figure, and a lot of people, basically, I would say 90% of people, were like, hell no, this looks like crap. The Marvel Legends comment comes up every single time someone doesn't like a figure and it's very plasticky. I was one of those people that said I wasn't a huge fan of how the original one looked. My thoughts are, I wish Hot Toys would have done this from the beginning because, it made a lot of sense. All of your other figures have fabric suits. Why would this one not follow suit? And we've seen here they were capable of doing it. They just decided to go in a different direction. And obviously it didn't work out. I'm sure the pre-order numbers were very low. I'm sure they saw a lot of people were angry. We had people saying this was the worst Hot Toys figure ever. I don't know if that's the truth, but yeah, a lot of people had a lot of issues with this one. I'm very curious to hear people's thoughts on this one, especially in the chat, because I feel like this is a bit of a redemption arc for this figure, in my opinion. I personally think it looks really good. This is one I was really excited to see if Hot Toys would do a figure of it. They did it. I was like, I'm not buying that. I'm not a fan of it. I tried to be as fair as possible. I didn't want to totally dog it because everybody was already doing it, but it wasn't for me. This is for me. This is what I was hoping to see from the get-go, and I think a lot of us were hoping to see. I love this luminous effect on the suit. I think it looks really good. I do think it looks better with the fabric suit, but I'm curious to hear, guys. I know a lot of people, there's going to be mixed opinions. Some people are going to say, well, I pre-ordered it hoping that it would be what they presented to us. Because, with everything, there's going to be people that like it. There's going to be people that don't like it. That's the beauty of collecting. So I think there may be a small group of people that are like, well, I pre-ordered this version and now you're giving me this version. I wanted the posable version. I liked how that posable version looked. I think that's going to be a much smaller group of people, but I'm very curious if there's anybody in the chat that pre-ordered this wanting the original version that was presented that may cancel their pre-order now or may be a little upset, but still keep your pre-order. Me personally, it was the opposite. I saw the original one, didn't want it. Then Hot Toys announced, hey, we're redoing it. Cool. Now I'll drop my pre-order. Thank you, Hot Toys. That's how it was for me. But again, for some people may be like, well, this isn't what I wanted. I wanted that posable version. I liked how it looked. The colors were a bit more vibrant. Some people may have preferred that. We're going to get to the comments. I know a lot of people were throwing in comments about this one, but David, I'm curious to hear your stance on this. Do you think this is an improvement? Do you think this is a step in the right direction? Or do you think Hot Toys should have done this from the beginning and this is kind of unacceptable overall with the whole situation with this figure?
So I'm a little bit on the, first of all, I'm not pre-ordering this, but I did see it when it was, kind of announced, and I saw that there was a little bit of an uproar. Personally, I kind of like the vibe before the costume. Yeah. This is a big figure, and hopefully the way they did the joints is where that fabric doesn't get caught up too much and whatnot. I can dig it for what it is, but I kind of like the way that the original presentation, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one is not coming home. It's got some interesting. Do you notice? Like, do you have a comparison shot to where it originally looked like, and the fabric?
I don't have a comparison shot, but I could certainly pull it up. Let's see.
Because it definitely has some different color tones to it, if you will, and that fabric has something going on in it. It's like some weird sheen in it, which is, to each their own, but it'd be interesting to see a comparison pic side by side.
Sideshow already updated their photos, it looks like, but Big Bad Toy Store did not. So if you guys are curious, I will pull up because since we're talking about the comparison between the two.
What is this coming in at? Like 13 inches?
Around there, yeah. It's a pretty substantial figure, but as you can see, guys, this is what we're talking about here. This is the original version here. Again, Everyone will have their opinion. For me, this is definitely a downgrade from what we're now seeing. You know, when you're comparing them after we just looked at those photos, for me, I do prefer the vibrancy of the colors on the plastic here. But I think overall, the new updated version is just better to me. You know, it's what I personally wanted. Again, I respect if y'all are like, I wanted this posable version, but like this right here totally kills it for me. And you know, with some figures, it's acceptable to me, and it doesn't look as bad. Like the Avatar figures, Natiri and Jake, I think they do a good job at hiding them, and that's more acceptable because those figures are like 17 inches tall or something crazy like that. This one, I don't know, especially with the spider logo on his chest being separated, it just threw it off to me. And you know, the Marvel Legends comment, obviously, it's a bit of a roast to Hot Toys, but I do kind of understand it with this one. It does look very, very toy-like, whereas we are collecting toys at the end of the day, but they're kind of lifelike adaptations of toys, you know, as realistic as these companies can get them. And I don't know, I feel like I prefer the original one personally, but again, to each their own. I think most people seem to be more happy with this one. I want to see some of the comments because I know a lot of people had comments on this one. Let's see. Bantha Boy says top contender for the best damn super chat message response. Yeah, I think we have to give it to Chris on that one for sure. Carlita says one without the entries wait listed. Kaiju, excuse me, Kaiju. Phew, I can't talk. Kaiju says this is a fail. The older one with the visible joints was better. Yeah, again, I could see people being on both sides of the fence. I do see a majority of people probably preferring the fabric suit. But again, I respect your opinion on that because I know a lot of people are probably going to share your thoughts on that, especially if you pre-ordered it. And Kaiju also says, I saw it at Toy Sapiens. It's in one of my videos. It looked better in person than I thought. And that's with the plastic body. I'm assuming that because I guess when it was on display at Toy Sapiens originally, it had that original design, I'm guessing. Kaiju says it looks stupid now with the bunching of the fabric, museum pose, big L. Yeah, and to be fair, I mean, I know Ryan was actually commenting on that earlier in the Hot Toys Hotline Facebook chat. I do have some Spider-Man figures that have that bunching as well, so I don't think that's anything new per se. I just think maybe it stands out a little more on this one because it is that like vibrant blue suit, and you guys know like darker colors seem to hide the crimes more, whereas this one's so bright, it's definitely more noticeable. Bantha Boy says it would be awesome and a win-win for all if they allowed for the new fabric suit to be unzipped or removable in an easy way. Everybody wins. Yeah, I mean, you guys know in a perfect world, we would have more options. But for this one, me personally, I think this is the best, especially for their business. I think this is the best route they should have taken because, you know, this was being posted everywhere, guys. People were, and you know, it's going to be the same thing with the Supergirl, guys. That figure is being roasted, and you know, people have kind of forgotten about it at this point. But best believe that's getting a new head sculpt. That's getting a new head sculpt for sure. And you know that one really saddened me because I wanted that figure so bad. I thought she was awesome as Supergirl. I think she looked good in the suit. Like overall, I was really excited about that figure, and I still am. But there, that's going to get the 2099 treatment for sure. So we're going to see this more often, guys. I mean, because I think Hot Toys knows, like, if they fix this stuff, they're going to get more pre-orders out. And this one, I'm sure it died off extremely quickly, way quicker than they probably expected because it is such a beloved character from the new film. But yeah, totally see what you're saying. But yeah, you know how they are, Bantha Boy. Carly, he's commenting on the Iron Man. He says it was released alongside the gantry set, but waitlisted first. The gantry set is still available. Gotcha. Thank you so much for checking on that for me. Ty says vast improvement, in my opinion. Proportions on point, probably less articulation, but realism first for my display. And yeah, Ty, I'm right there with you. For me, again, I definitely prefer this look personally. But again, I respect those who have a different opinion on it because I totally understand, and I can put my brain with your brain. If you pre-ordered wanting that version, it got changed on you. I could see some people canceling it. But I think overall, again, it's going to work out in Hot Toys' favor that they made this change. Stevie Weeby says, ain't nobody got time for that. Big Doll Pound says, I love the movie. I want to get this figure. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is the best multiverse movie of this year. It's funny how you have to put it that way because there's so many, really in the past, I guess 2 years, there's been so many multiverse films, you know, especially with The Flash. I enjoyed The Flash, but, you know, it kind of fell flat for a lot of people, and especially in the box office. Boba says, I didn't like it before, and I still don't like it much. Looks like he's wearing a onesie. I have seen, Boba, I have seen that onesie comment a lot, so you're definitely not on your own there. The colors, man, the colors. Yeah, that's what we're here for with this one, right? It's all those shiny colors to draw your attention in. Ash Chase says, "What's up, Plastic Crackheads? What's up, Ash? I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. I gave you a shout out at the beginning of the stream. I'll be posting the giveaway video for the giveaway prize that you graciously donated alongside Violet. So thank you so much for that." Mike says, "Yeah, Spider-Man is cute, but just give me the damn Rebels figures from Ahsoka." Yes, sir. I cannot wait to see what we get from Ahsoka. By the way, guys, August 23rd. Who's ready? I'm ready. I've been ready. I cannot wait to see that show. So I really hope they don't pull an Andor on us and just completely leave us in the dark on figures. I don't think they will. But yeah, I'm really hoping that now that a gap in time has opened up for Hot Toys, they can squeeze us in. They can pencil us Star Wars fans in for some Ahsoka figures. And yes, more Clone Wars 20th, which there's been very little recently. Totally agree with that. The collector is here. He said the price needs to be right. As always, I totally agree. The price always has to be right, especially for your own collection. What makes sense to you? Certainly, that's definitely a good point there. Kaiju says, in a dynamic pose, the first one would look infinitely better. Can't pose with a clothing one in a dynamic pose at all. Yeah, there's certainly with this one, there's going to be trade-offs, right? With this new look, there's going to be trade-offs. It's not going to be nearly as posable because you have that restriction of the fabric. And that's really with all Spider-Man figures. And you know, a lot of people are pretty good at posing Spider-Man figures, but of course you have to remember you do have possible issues with condition issues over time when you're posing Spider-Man figures. So that's another thing to consider. It's definitely an unfortunate truth of this Hot Toys hobby. Yomo is here. What's up, Yomo? I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for being here. By the way, guys, 43 people here. If you haven't already, please consider liking the stream and subscribe if you haven't already. But guys, we're going to move on to our next topic. Great comments about the Spider-Man 2099. I'm glad to see kind of a mix of opinions. Another one that I've been really excited to talk about, and David, I'm also excited to hear your thoughts on this one. And if you pick this one up, this one was a must for me, guys. I'm a big Justice League fan. You guys know I haven't been the biggest fan of rooted hair. I haven't, but I'm trying to give it a chance. Everybody's been telling me, you know, rooted hair is not that bad. Give it a chance. This new wool hair is awesome. NRS Joker was awesome. This looks really good. So I'm giving it a chance, guys. I really am. I'm exploring rooted hair options with InArt. I'm exploring rooted hair options with Hot Toys. I've got this one coming very soon. Once I pay Jeremy from Plastic Hero Collectibles, we got to pay him for this one. I also did secure a Joker and an Anakin. So I'm giving the rooted thing a chance, guys. I hope you're proud of me. But looking at this, guys, I'm pretty happy with how it looks. You know, I've seen some comments. Some people are like, I don't like the hairline. I think for me and the big trade-off with rooted hair, guys, it really comes down to how it's presented to us and how you as a collector, when you get it in hand, how you're able to kind of fuss with the hair, because Hot Toys can surround it and whatever big size of a box they want, regardless, when it shows up to you, it's not going to look like it just came off of their display at a con. You know what I mean? It's going to need some work done to it, regardless of where it comes from or what it's packaged in. However, guys, I think she looks beautiful. I don't know why we have Anakin and Joker up on the screen here. I think she looks beautiful. Again, more photos on the screen. I will say, guys, the interesting thing about this one, the box is way, way bigger than the Wonder Woman 84 box. I did see a comparison go up between this and the Wonder Woman 84 box, and it's massive. And part of it, and you'll see, guys, here in the video, the head sculpt is in like a big square plastic box to kind of keep it in the best shape it can be through shipping. So I think a lot of resellers, especially, maybe losing out on some of their profits with this one, because the package, especially if you offer shipping in the price up front, and you can see here, I'm going to pause it here. You could see here, I'm going to turn these captions off as well. It's a big box, guys. I mean, look at the you know, that's about a 12-inch figure there. And then you have the head sculpt above it. It's a big package. So especially a lot of the resellers that offered this as a shipping included from the get-go, they're probably going to be cutting into their profits quite a bit with shipping. Shipping a box this size and this weight overseas is not going to be cheap. So I definitely feel for those, who, especially if you didn't charge that much for it, you know, close to retail, it's definitely going to hurt it a little bit. But I'm curious to hear your thoughts, David. I've told you I picked this one up. Definitely really excited to check it out. I think it looks pretty good. And again, I think with this one, I think Hot Toys did a good job on the hair, but it, of course, is very dependent upon when it shows up to you. I think you're going to have to futz with it a little bit because it is rooted hair. But curious to hear your thoughts. Are you picking it up? how do you think it looks? And just overall, what are your thoughts on it after?
So it's absolutely gorgeous. I have the 84, and I actually had her in my cart, and I was waffling back and forth. I ended up going with the 100th on the Batman, and whether it was in my cart and it was going to go through, that's another story. But it was there for a minute, and I was like, "Damn it!" And I kind of backed out. I did get the sculpted hair on the NR Joker. I'm more of a sculpted hair. Even though I kind of live in the perfect climate for what would be, the rooted hair, if you will, I feel for those that are like on the East Coast and they get like that poofed out look after a while. But I mean, she's beautiful, and congratulations for you, with you picking her up. It's a beautiful presentation. It's gorgeous, bro. I didn't bring it home, but it's stunning. So.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. And I totally agree. I mean, I'm not surprised at all by this. And guys, the topic of conversation that came out with this is like, is Hot Toys now doing this because of InArt? And I think you have to address the elephant in the room. It's very obvious. They're like, we see this working for them. We can do this. Let's give it a shot. Let's try something a bit more premium. Let's kind of take the bad taste out of everybody's mouth with our rooted hair. Because, guys, I told you, I've got the Justice League Wonder Woman. Love that figure. The hair on it is disgusting. And as I'm saying that, I did not expect Lane to come in tonight.
Hello.
Lane, are you here to stay, or are you just popping in? Because if you're here to stay, I'm going to be very excited because I did not expect you to come in tonight, man.
I will be here for a bit. How'd
everything go, dude? Everything good?
I was up at 4 a.m. to have to take the medication at the appropriate time according to instruction. Yeah. And so I had to do that. And then I got home and I got talked into doing another stream this afternoon. And I did that. I wasn't going to do anything today, but I was like, let me try. I was going to try and come on here too because I was really tired. So I put myself to take a nap, and I set an alarm to like wake me up probably about maybe 10 minutes after you started. And I'd be like, hey, I'll come on for a little while if he's not full up. And then,
yeah,
I
perfect
set my alarm,
timing, dude.
I set my alarm for 6 o'clock a.m.
Oh, well, hey, we're glad to have you here, dude. I'm glad that everything went well. We're just starting to talk about the WB
Wonder Woman. What actually woke me up is because I had your stream up on my computer.
Oh, so you're saying I was so loud, or maybe it was David. We'll blame David. First stream with us, we're gonna blame David.
That's how sleepy I was. Is that I slept through you guys talking for almost an hour. So I'm now probably not gonna fall asleep till like 2 a.m. or something tonight. But this looks. I heard Wonder Woman 100, and I'm like, I know that the Hot Toys hotline dialed himself up this figure, because if he didn't,
of course, man.
Right now he would be having his top 4 friends now like on his speed dial saying, hey, if you decide not to, or you don't like the rooted hair for this figure, you know who your hookup is.
Right. Everybody's going to be waiting for it for sure. They're going to be like, hey, man, you don't like it, I'll take it off your hands. So yeah, I'm giving another chance, Lane. David and I were just talking, and David kind of shares the same sentiment as me. And Lane, I've never been a fan of rooted hair. I've been a sculpted hair guy. I much prefer it. But Lane, I'm giving it another chance with this one. I'm giving it another chance. So
I think I much like I heard David here just a little bit when I was coming in. I had her in the thing, but I wasn't interested enough in this one for the price point. That was more the thing for me than the rooted hair. As I've said on a couple other streams, only way usually I will fool with rooted hair is if it's on a $2,000 figure. Then you can convince me to mess with it for a while, on a statue like that. I think the reason I would say I think this is a good choice you did on this one, it wasn't one necessarily for me so much. Like, I like this comparison, how much better the hair is versus the
tremendously
armor.
Better.
Yeah. If nothing more, InArt, because I disagree with you. I don't think InArt is a direct competitor to Hot Toys. Like a lot of people.
No, I wasn't saying they're a direct competitor. I was saying that they influenced them into going in this direction with the wool hair. Certainly they did.
To improve what they're now, they might increase the price point too. But she was not worth it to me for $400. But that's why I waffled, because I was like, David, I had her in my thing. Everybody were like, no, I had her, and there was a chance still that she would. I got her all the way to being able to put a payment in. So it still might have screwed up, but we can't say one way or the other. But I just said, nah, let me let somebody else get her who wants her, probably more than I do. It's because the thing that I think makes it worth it, though, for like if you're really interested or you're really into Gal Gadot Wonder Woman, we know the body's good because it's the Wonder Woman 84.
Right, the Wonder Woman 84 body, you know, and everybody loves that figure. They say how great the silicone body
that would
is.
be that would be the one I would get more because I would for the hair not to be rooted with that one. This one, though, I think is for now and what could be the last one. Like, if they're going to go, like, this is the last Gal Gadot.
Well, I don't know, Lane, because, you know,
she might
magically Gal Gadot has returned. She's going to be Wonder Woman again. Well, we'll see. Wonder Woman 3, so you never know.
Is that confirmed?
We'll see. We'll see. Let's wait and see.
I don't know if it's confirmed, but it's a
they're developing something supposedly, but developing could mean that, you know, we're talking that I you know, had a meeting with them saying, hey, I think it would be a good idea. Maybe if I came back to Wonder Woman, so you could pay me $10 million to do another movie. I mean, that's what it could be. But
Lane, burn. Mike says, I remember the time I thought I heard Lane stop talking for a second, but thankfully it was just my internet connection. I got nervous. I kid Lane.
Yeah, thank you, buddy. Thank you, Mike. You're as wonderful as all of us. I will just say with this that I think that if the body's good, the hair looks good. Now you're still gonna. I think some people who pick it up might run into a we'll see, Big Dog Pound. We'll see. I always, when I hear this stuff, I always take it because there's been so many things with how DC.
I'm not getting my hopes up, man. They took away my heroes. I'm not getting my hopes up.
It could be because she was actually in that cameo in
she was in the Flash.
However, at the same time, that means the last time she played the character was in maybe the worst bomb of a comic book movie in the history of the world. So, you know, even though she wasn't the main character, hey, OG fan, it's worth, I thinking, because the body's good. I just hope people understand who are getting it. You may have to F around with this hair.
And that's what I was saying, Lane. It's not going to show up looking like it just came out of a salon, I don't think. I really don't think it's going to.
Definitely looks like she just came out of the salon. That hair right there is like perfection, right? So at some point you're going to have to mess with. I tell you what, you know, it's like I have the Batgirl over there, and you know, that's a different gig because she's got a mask, and I didn't know how I was going to feel about it. Absolutely love. I'm a DC freak. I absolutely love it. This is gorgeous, but you're going to have to take it out of the box, strike a pose, and slowly walk away from it.
Yep, never touch it again. And that's, you know, that's how I am currently with my my rooted hair figures because they're pretty rough, guys. You guys know that cheap like nylon, I guess, material that they used for Hot Toys rooted hair in the past. It's garbage. You know, you can do what you want with it. I don't have that much humidity where I'm from, and it's still just rough, man. So the wool hair definitely speaks to me in terms of quality improvement. And again, I do think it all stemmed from what InArt's been offering for sure. Go ahead, Lane.
Yeah, I was just wondering, did you guys see or anything or was shown? You know, because I like for the 100 Disney for the Iron Man, you know, the little lenticular that has to like in a specific way. You have to put the base like next to it. It's like ends up stacked behind the figure in the base. Right. Is it the same thing for this one? With the
I would imagine so. I haven't watched this review yet, so we just kind of have it playing in the back. And by the way, this guy, his channel is incredible. The little like pauses he does where he shows the inner skeleton of the figure, and it's incredible. But no, I haven't watched this video in full yet, so I'm not sure, Lane. I guess we'll see that.
I wasn't sure because they showed a thing. It looked like maybe. I assume like you're right.
He does it at the end. Yeah, we'll skip to that very shortly, and we'll take a look at because I'm curious too how that works out.
I will just say of the costume, I actually like the 84 because I just really like the more super vibrant color.
And I'm the other way around. I love the Justice League dark colors, and also for some reason, I wasn't a fan of that battle damage on the 84 where the gold was showing through. I think it was a little too heavy for me. I love the dark. How interesting is that flex in the waist there? That's really cool.
There's a six pack there.
Yeah, I much prefer the darker colors. By the way, Mike, I guess David, you, Mike, and I are the only 3 people on the planet that pre-ordered that WB100 Batman. Mike says, "Give me those blue bales." Ordered one on purpose and a second one by accident. I like that figure, man. That one for a lot of
I'm on
people
the
was a
wait list for
dumpster
it.
fire. But
I've
Lane,
been
maybe you'll
trying to
end
get
up
that.
getting it, dude. I think it's really cool. I love it.
Well, my thing is because I was looking. I have one detail shelf that has nothing on it that is literally for Batman, and eventually there's going to be a Catwoman on there, a Bane. Obviously, I'm going to get one of the Hot Toys Jokers, but there wouldn't be a Batman. And my DX19 is with my Bat Pod on top of another shelf, so I need like a Batman in there, and I don't want to keep. I want the closest I could do without buying a second one, and I don't buy seconds of the exact same figure. Would be getting that Batman 100, even if it does look a little goofy with the color.
I mean, it's either like it or you don't. Either like it, but I want to put this out, guys, because typically Hot Toys with these type of figures, they would do like a thinner sculpted plastic. This appears to be a fabric here for the Wonder Woman skirt, which is really cool to see. I did not know that. It looks to be a fabric skirt. You'll see when he lifts it up.
I hope so for $400. I mean, that's Iron Man.
Yeah. I mean, for sure.
It's the same price. It's the same price as the Mark 7.
But that's really cool. I don't know if the Wonder Woman 84 had a fabric skirt. I'm not sure because I don't have the Wonder Woman 84. But
no, I have it. It's very thin. It's definitely not fabric.
This is cool, man.
It looks similar.
Yeah, this is cool though. I think that's definitely an improvement because it helps with the articulation for sure.
This is the 100. Do you think, guys, that this should have been maybe held off for a little bit? It should have been part of the Artisan line, like the Joker and Anakin.
No,
or do you think it's
because
it was what it is?
Lane, I think it was good timing because a lot of us are very like, what's going on with DC right now? We're clinging to our Snyder cut DC heroes. So I think this was perfect timing. I really do. Now, guys, I'm with you. I know people in the chat. We want our Christopher Reeve WB100. We want our Nicholson Joker, all that stuff. I'm with you. But I would love to see them do some more stuff. Same with the Disney 100. Like, you're just gonna give us Iron Man, really? That's it. You
can't think of any. I mean, just leaving Star Wars or other stuff out. There were so many properties. Even if you did a Disney character, do some, I don't know, like Mickey Mouse or. Not the stupid Cosby.
Dude, I'd be all over it. Steamboat Willie, like give it to me. I'll take it. Chris,
they did the Winnie the Poohs.
Exactly. They did Winnie the Pooh. Why not? Chris Collecting Madness in the chat. He says, don't know how long you're on or if I'll make it, but great to see everyone. Hopefully you'll be able to make it, Chris. I know you kind of got screwed at work today. Also, side note, if this is what it looks like in person, I'm not that impressed and prefer sculpted for her. That's fair, dude. People are going to be on either side. And like Lane says, this is $400. It's a very expensive figure. So your expectations do get set a tier higher. And I do agree. There was a comment. Also, by the way, Kaiju was asking, do people really want this? In the US, at least, it seems like a lot of people want this figure. And someone also mentioned they wish that they would have hid the screws a little better. I do agree with that.
Yeah,
it's been that way on the other Wonder Womans for sure. So
yeah, that's the one bad thing. I would say that's the only, quote, and I put it in quotes, bad, is just that respect. But it's the same thing you can run into, like, say, I think a figure that generally people look good, the President Loki.
Yeah.
Because if you start moving some posing with the leg, you're going to start seeing the body. Like underneath there, and you can see it because the stuff's short. So.
Thankfully, you can't really see it from the front, but I do get the sentiment that like it would be nice if it was more hidden. Violet says she wants this Wonder Woman. Well, you may have a chance on a waitlist conversion because, again, we mentioned earlier that endgame cap randomly converted for some people. So you never know. Anything could happen at this point.
And it's still a $400 figure with a lot of stuff coming out. You don't know. Like you said, that one popped up. But with these figures, because there's so many, even the rare ones and stuff, quote, rare, the exclusive, you might see one of those Anakins pop up or one of those other things when it's
know. I mean, don't ever give up hope, guys. There's always going to be some hope in collecting. Don't ever think the secondary market price, the high of it, is the absolute what you have to pay. Always
when
wait.
You get,
there's always options.
Whenever it finally comes time to pay that $500, and it could be that $500 or $400 something for those figures. There might be some people who nope out. You know,
Yeah,
there are going to be
for
people
sure.
who nope out. So
For sure. OG had a question. Can this suit be changed? We prefer the comic concept outfit on this WB 100 Wonder Woman. I'm not sure. I would imagine maybe because it's fabric, it would be easier removable. Obviously, take that with a grain of salt because I don't have the figure in hand to check yet. But there's this beautiful face. That's what we're waiting for, Lane. But yeah, let me skip towards the end before we move on. I do want to see, because Lane asked a good question about that base. I do want to see what this base is about. Violet says, I'm patient. I can wait. Yeah, I mean, you may have a chance. You never know. I mean, there could be some
you
wait
like
list.
this
Hop on
base?
that wait list.
Do you guys like this one? I think it's actually really cool.
I
base.
think this looks overall as a package better than the D100 one. I do think it kind of works a little bit better. Obviously, the plastic, whatever. They could have made it a little bit thicker of a material, but I do think it looks good. I think as an overall package, and I do love that they also included, remember the training Wonder Woman had that stand for the sword? I love that they actually included that with this one as well.
I
Yeah, it
dig
looks
that
like it
base.
just
I
slots.
like the radius on the bases. You know what I'm saying? Instead of the, whatever.
I agree. That new like circular design they're doing, I like that too.
I like the inart base. I do. There's something about it. It's a little bit classier. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. And on Anakin, it looks really good.
I like to have the plug in the back in there, so it actually does like the 100 for Disney. Just kind of just
no. Yeah, I think you're right, Lane. This is the stronger base. Yeah, and it looks good. I think it looks good as an overall package.
It's like the Boba Fett. The
Right.
circular base was like the Boba Fett, and I remember that was one of the things people really liked about that one when they got it, because it was a unique base. Even if they were using it, it feels like a unique base for one of these one-off figures.
Yeah,
for sure.
You know,
by the way, guys,
that ribbon's cool. And look, that's pretty cool, right? But if you remove the ribbon and the plastic behind it, that's a great looking base, man.
Yeah, it looks great by itself. I love that design. I think it looks really good. It's very, like you said, it's classy. It's elegant looking. And the nameplate too. I think the nameplate looks really good. So definitely a step in the right direction. I'm glad like the Arena Boba Fett came with this style base. A lot of the newer figures like the Clone Wars, Palpatine comes with there, Darth Sidious comes with this. So it's definitely a step in the right direction. We talked about earlier that sand footprint base, we could do without that. More of this, the better, in my opinion. Exactly. Boba says the Arena Boba Fett base. Exactly. Like more of that. I'm definitely much prefer that. So we're moving on now, guys. Lane, by the way, we talked about the D100 Iron Man. We looked at the final product for that. We looked at the R5D4 set. We talked about that one. What we're moving on to now, though, Lane, is we're going to take a look at the release dates for the pre-orders on Sideshow for the 2 DX Artisan figures.
Could I ask one question?
Sure, absolutely.
I was just wondering, because I was not here, and I was interested to hear what people thought, just in general. What do you guys thought about the droid set?
So what I did say, and it seems like David and I were kind of on the same page. We were really excited for it. I think it looks fantastic. A lot of people in the chat were really excited. Lane, I did talk to Monica. He does have it in hand, and he said the pit droid is way more sturdy than he expected, than a lot of us expected. So that was really good to see really good to hear, because, a lot of people were saying like it looks like it's going to be brittle for good reason. It's like a little plastic figure.
So some concern like that happened with the shoulder joints with the battle droids.
That's exactly what I mentioned. Yeah.
The only thing that hurt me with that droid is after I was heard, hey, look, that guy is packing, and I was like, what? Oh, look at his big dong in the base there.
Lane, I don't know if I went if I went that route, but sure, Lane. And,
I know that wasn't this stream, but someone told me, and I'm like, I can't unsee it.
By the way, Lewis is here. Lewis said, great live stream, Hottoys Hotline, and then also said, love the seamless arms. Well, thank you so much. I very much appreciate that. And yeah, I think this body is really nice. And again, a lot of people who have the Wonder Woman 84 really spoke volumes of this
That's
body.
More brave than I would be.
I'm definitely really excited. Yeah. I'm going to be
Mhm.
chilling with this one. I'm not going to be putting in any crazy poses, that's for sure. But guys, by the way, I didn't mention, I did put up a poll, so I'm curious to hear your thoughts after seeing the final product of the WB 100 Wonder Woman. Is this a cop or is this the flop? Is this one going out the window? Let me know. But we're going to move on, guys. I know a lot of you had questions in the Facebook group about this. So we're going to take a look at the new updated post from Sideshow for the DX Artisan figures, and I will have it scrolling across the bottom here. So for the DX Artisan Joker, guys, August 17th at 9 a.m. PT. If you're in the Eastern Standard Time like I am, that is 12 p.m. Be ready on the website. Of course, you guys know they do the queue system now, so you get put in the queue and you have to wait. So for the Joker, August 17th, you can see it's listed here on the page on the bottom as well, which is where I got the information. So that's when you could expect to be ready to go up for these. Make sure you're logged in. Make sure you're ready a little bit beforehand. That's when this guy's going up. So if you're going for this, if you're gunning for it, it's going to be a battle, but don't give up before you even start. Trust me, guys. I feel like with the queue system, it's a lot easier than a lot of us expected. I will say, though, between the two guys, the Joker is definitely going to be the easier one because, you know, we have the in-art Jokers. They do the sculpted, rooted versions. There is a sculpted version of the Hot Toys as well. There's been a lot of great options for Joker recently, specifically the Heath Ledger Joker. So I think this one's going to be much easier to get versus the Anakin. The Anakin, I think, guys, is going to be rough. I'm just going to be honest with you. Not saying, again, don't give up before you start. You never know. But it's going to be tough. There's going to be a lot of people gunning for it. There's going to be a small amount. Same with the Joker, but the Anakin, you know, there's less options. And, you know, a lot of people are paying tremendous amounts of money right now for the dark side Anakin. They're paying $450 plus for the light side Anakin. He's kind of gone down a little bit though since the DX Artisan. But once all those people miss out on that light side Anakin, the DX Artisan, they're going to go back for that light side Anakin. So it'll probably go back up a little bit. But I'm curious to hear, guys, in the chat, who's going to be on Sideshow fighting it out with everybody on the 17th for this one. Me personally, guys, I have secured mine. I'm still going to go for these just in the off chance that something falls through with my secured copies overseas. I'm going to be going for it. But me personally, my thought on the Joker is I have the sculpted 2-pack from InArt. Love that set. I was going to be perfectly happy checking out the sculpted one from Hot Toys just for comparison's sake and having a different version of it. But I was able to secure one overseas for the rooted version. So again, guys, I'm giving rooted another chance. A lot of people told me, hey, give it another chance. So I'm giving another chance. But yeah, so I'm going to be going for this one. David, I know you said you're a DC freak, so I'm sure whether it's the rooted version or the sculpted version, I don't know if you're going for them because you have the InArt, but I'm sure it's at least on your radar, right?
No, it absolutely is on my radar. So I mean, again, the sculpted Joker, but see, the thing is I want the sculpted Hot Toys Joker here. I've got the quarter scale. I love it to death. Huge DC fan, you know, tons of Batman stuff, but you know, it's like you can't have too many Jokers, in my opinion. I've got the video game Joker down there. Love it. But
I want that one. The Mark Hamill Joker, man. I want that one. So
oh,
bad.
God, I love it so much.
I'll get it eventually. It's expensive, man. It's
yeah.
very expensive. Right
and
now.
Right now, I think you and I had chatted. I did up that third-party Bane with an M35 Bison body. I mean, it's incredible, right? But I still want that
dude,
2.0,
that Hot Toys body with the scars and everything, they really did their thing with that one. I'm really excited to see the final product on that
and I wanted to make a comment, like, you know, I mean, the rooted hair, to each their own, right? You know, I mean, it's really not for me, but I'm more impressed with Hot Toys with they have really stepped up their game, in my opinion. I mean, they've always been excellent, right? Like the first Hot Toys, first one I ever received was the classic Predator, like 12 years ago, right? And that sculpt is incredible. They do excellent with aliens, but in my opinion, in the last year, they have really stepped their game up in the face sculpts. And out of the hair and the body, I'm more impressed with their direction. They're going with their bodies more so than the rooted hair, and that's just my opinion, right? But kudos to Hot Toys. They're always ever evolving, right? And the whole InArt debate, I don't even want to go there. I just, you know, I love options and whatnot. I think it's cool to have options. And, you know, for those folks that, you know, I mean, there's a lot of folks that collect a lot of different things, right? But typically speaking, any line you pick, Transformers, Gundams and whatnot, there's always, you know, like a different brand that's
different takes. Yeah.
And they're kind of like pushing each other, right? And I dig it, man. I dig it.
Yeah. And you know, who wins there? We do, you know, and I'm totally with you, David. You know, I'm sure you guys that watch me and people in the chat, you guys know I'm not like Hot Toys is better than this or InArt is better than this. I'm whatever is cool and it looks good. I want it. You know what I mean? I love the InArt Jokers. And Jimmy asks, when am I doing my InArt Joker review? So I had an issue with one of the parts that came with it. I'm waiting for a replacement part so I can properly show everything off. So once that shows up, I'll be doing my review and my thoughts on the InArt figures as a whole, because I know a lot of you guys still want to hear that from me, because I have over 200 Hot Toys. You guys are curious to hear my thoughts on the InArt Joker. They're good. They're very good. But I'm just waiting for that replacement part, and I'll do my review on it. But yeah, I'm totally with you, David. The more options for collectors, the better. I look at both of these figures, having the InArt Joker in hand. I'm like, well, InArt, I think, did this better. And then I look at the Hot Toys, and there's some stuff on the Hot Toys one I do like better. So that's the perfect world for me. Two different takes, two different improvements, or two different takes on the figure where they made different improvements with each one. And I'm going to be very happy to have them side by side. And like you said, when it comes to Heath Ledger Joker, you really can't have enough.
No, dude. And let me just say this. I know quality when I see it. And I think everyone probably watching the show feels the same way, right? But I was pleasantly surprised when I got the InArt Joker. It was probably a couple weeks ago. I wasn't too high or too low on it. But when I opened it up, trust me, I was very happy.
Dude, I was
very happy. Happy enough to where I'm now eyeing that Superman, the regular version, like thinking,
oh, that's on my radar and then some, dude. I'm ready for that. BVS Superman, I don't have the Hot Toys one. I'm ready for it. And I just actually picked up an armored Batman. So I'm gunning for that BVS Superman. But yeah, I mean, so anyways, back to what we were talking about, though. I'm excited to get this one in hand and check it out. I do have the photos from JC Hong, because I think they have the sculpted hair on them, but I think the sculpt really shines in these photos from JC Hong. So I'm going to pull those up, but I'm curious to hear Lane Foss. And it seems like a lot of people in the chat are all saying they're going to be fighting for these. So guys, best of luck. Also, JB had a question for us. JB says, do you guys have any advice on how to be chosen to get Anakin? So JB, you're not exactly chosen with these. It's not a lottery this time around. It's just a queue system. So it's really how fast you get in the queue. In my experience, I've noticed you can kind of preload 10 minutes before the queue is opened up and they start allowing people into the website. So I would say bare minimum, maybe 10 minutes before the drop starts, I would get in and kind of get ready for it. But of course, there's no guarantees with internet. There's varying internet speeds. Anything could happen. But that's what I do. And I've been pretty lucky with most of these drops. I've gotten most of the ones I've wanted. Really, the only one I missed on that I was really bummed about was the Iron Man. But that's why I got it from Plastic Hero Collectibles. But that's what I would recommend. I think 2 hours early is a bit overkill, because they don't even activate the queue, I think, until I would probably say I think it's about 10 minutes before the drop. So
I swear to get square ATH, I'm going to start calling you Nate Jr.
You cannot look. Nate, as Nate always says, he's out of his mind. I'm almost out of my mind, but not quite. By the way, Mike says I may be alone in this, but I think the Hot Toy sculpted Joker is better looking than any InArt Joker. That's your personal opinion for sure. I mean, me personally, I like at least from the prototype, got to see final product, but I think I like the Hot Toy sculpted hair better than the InArt after having the InArt in hand. Again, that's the great thing about it. You can find different things that you like about these figures, and that's a perfect world. They're both great options. I can't wait to see the final product from Hot Toys. But Lane, are you gunning for these at all? Of course, we're starting. I should say, are you gunning for this one? Because we're going to talk about Anakin next. But
not the Joker. No,
not the Joker. But the Anakin, I guess, is going to be on your radar when we start talking about that one. It sounds like.
Yeah, this Joker. Well, you know already from way back when the InArt popped up that I was not. Now this is different than the InArt, because that was $11,000 for the two figures for rooted hair.
Right. Yeah. If you wanted the rooted, you had to get the two.
That was a whole different ball game. I mean, this is still going to be expensive, but that's still different. Hey, Blackbird. I think the rooted hair looks fine with this, but I'm also, I originally had the sculpted hair for the InArt Joker, but I decided to cancel mine because it was just taking too long. I got tired of waiting for it, and there were other figures that I wanted to aim for instead. But the Hot Toys sculpted hair Joker, I'm getting like that. I'm
you
just
mean
waiting for that
this
one to
sculpted hair Joker, Lane?
Dude, JC Hong, I know I sent it to like Terry Smith and like everybody when he first posted those up on his personal thing, like within 30 minutes or something. I sent them to like 3 or 4 people. This is the thing. The InArt sculpt is great. So this is my whole thing with both these sculpts. I think by the time, and I'm just speaking for sculpted hair. I'm not talking about the rooted stuff, because the rooted hair can really affect how the final sculpt looks, like depending on how much you have it cleaned up or whatever.
Yeah, that's the
the
biggest
main
question. We know Hot Toys is good with their sculpted hair, but the rooted hair, Hot Toys hasn't had the best track record. So
Yeah.
looks like they're turning a new leaf with the Wonder Woman. But Lane, I mean, and we saw a drastic difference, Lane, in the rooted hair from the original photos, which looked very puffy in my opinion. And then when they showed it off at the show, it was much better. So
yeah. But this sculpt, taking off the rooted hair sculpt, because this is in some form or fashion what it's going to look like when we get it in hand, I think was fabulous. Like, it looks great.
Beautiful
I mean,
sculpt.
JC Hung did it, so this isn't like, oh my god, I'm surprised that it came
in
out.
Hung we trust. Yeah, in Hung we trust.
Is it going to be better than the rooted hair one? Yeah, either one might have a little crease here or a little cream there with some of the face or whatever, or something that I'm not picky enough with my facial sculpts. I think if I just look at them right off the bat, like next to each other, if I had them in front of me, probably like in a year, I'm going to probably go, well, if you went behind the back and turned around and I didn't know which one was one, and you didn't have one standing on a base to fall over. Haha. Okay. One shot at dinner. I probably wouldn't necessarily be able to tell the difference or wouldn't care. I'd be like, that one looks good and that one looks good. I think both of these are going to be banger figures. Now, I am curious, though, to see when Sideshow puts it up for pre-order, what is going to be the price point for this? Because this figure, I don't think is going to come with and it's not the suit. I think the suit's going to be great. Tailoring for both of them is going to be fantastic. They're never an argument with Hot Toys and their costumes like 98% of the time, except if you're Spider-Man 2099. And then they took care of that.
Yeah.
But I think that the accessories are not going to be as good because they're probably going to be plastic and stuff than a lot of the accessories that came with the Joker. That might be the one area that I think in art might be better. And I'm saying might be better. But my price point, I feel that the sculpted hair Joker should be, he needs to be around like $290.
Right. So I think they came in at what, like $349 for their sculpted single Joker, which that's not a bad price.
No, that shot right there is that is incredible. That profile shot is amazing right there.
I'm willing to get JC knows where to use his phone to probably take some of the better.
So JC, I think he knows more than anybody that some of these photos don't do the figures justice, and that's why he does this, And I agree, David. And David, I see you doing some comparing here, and I think that's pretty smart. What are you liking what you see here in these photos from JC?
God, dude, I mean, this is so incredible too. But you know what? Again, this has just enough aesthetics that are tweaked to justify in my sick mind. I'm out of my mind. I want, I definitely want this for sure. And to me, right there, that's the sculpted hair, right?
That's the sculpted hair. Yeah.
It's beautiful, man. You have the in art, right? They did an incredible job with the tailoring and whatnot. I'm very impressed, but God, that looks amazing too.
You see like on this view, the detailing of the little, you can still almost make out like the little strands there of the hair.
And we can get a little
coming right up to the ear. Like write it up in there.
Yeah, I love how that looks. And again, me personally, when I'm comparing sculpted to sculpted, I do think I prefer how the hair is laid out more on this one, just because it's a bit closer to the head. But dude,
I have to agree with you. I'm looking right. It just, to me, they did a better job.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised by that. They obviously have a lot more experience when it comes to sculpted hair, it seems. And
they had comparison for like a year now.
Yeah, I mean, that's true.
Year and a half.
It's certainly easier when you have a reference of this is like what everybody's talking about. Then you can be like, all right, well, this is what they did. Where can we where can we improve?
Where can we adjust the hair on the skull?
For sure. Yeah, they definitely had the advantage there for sure. And I will say too, for me, I'm totally going to install that tongue. Like that really excites me.
That's my only concern.
Constantly throughout the film, he's licking his lips. He's doing that weird serpent-like thing that he does. So I think that's genius. I love that you can kind of swap it out. It's a very cool technology. You kind of swap out the tongue on the inside of the sculpt. Dude, I think it's awesome. I mean, I'm really stoked about this.
With the Joker, I'm not a posing expert, right? But in my opinion, it makes such a difference when you kind of lean his head forward. You get that little bit of a
And that
height.
shoulder lump.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
You
And kind of
have
like
to have
Jason
that look.
Voorhees, he has that same like kind of rounded shoulder look, and it's so unique to how Heath Ledger portrayed this character. So the fact that both InArt and Hot Toys are able to capture that, it's incredible. And you can really see that here, David, from the side profile. You can really see that kind of hunched over shoulder look. It looks good, man.
Yeah.
And you know what I was worried about, David? I was very worried about the weathering, because the weathering is so damn good on the InArt Joker purple coat. It's so good. It's scary good. How they looked at the coat. Where would it get worn? Well, here it makes sense on the lapel. Well, here it makes sense towards the bottom. When I first saw the original prototype photos from Hot Toys, I was like, oh, where's the weathering? And, you know, now seeing these photos and photos from the event, I guess the camera just didn't capture it, or maybe they had an early prototype that wasn't showing everything. I don't know. Because I haven't compared the original photos, but here it's good to see that they have a similar level of detail, at least in the prototype. Of course, final product may vary, but it looks really good, man. CSI said he's doubling up on the sculpted. I don't blame you. And Lewis says, what artistry? And yeah, I mean, again, we know this is the artisan line. So if you're gonna call something artisan, you really have to bring it. And if this is anything what the final product looks like, I'm gonna be very happy. I got to be honest with you. And the sculpted is so good. It's very tempting. Again, I'm giving the rooted hair a shot. Raxus Prime is here. But Raxus says, I know Dirty Dishes. That's my name in the Discord, by the way. It used to be on the Discord. That's where that's coming from. Is copping the rooted Anakin. Absolutely, you know, I'm getting that rooted Anakin. You know, that's my favorite character in all of everything. But go ahead, David.
Oh, I just wanted to say the Joker's unique in the sense that, you know, the outfit, the layering, I mean, because it's like, you know, you've got his shirt, you've got his vest, you've got like his overcoat, and then you've got his like duster or whatever you want to call it. So it's so impressive. Both Hot Toys and InArt are able to get that layering going without looking too bulky or just kind of weird. And it's really an incredible feat, in my opinion.
I agree. I mean, because it's very difficult, and when you watch the videos from like InArt and their production process, you watch the video that Hot Toy recently put out with their production process, the amount of thought that goes into everything. Like, oh, we tested this many different fabrics until we liked the pattern. You know, there's a lot that goes into the detail with this. And we saw that with InArt, and we're seeing it again now with Hot Toys for their artisan figures. And it's really cool to see. And it's really cool to see them dipping their feet in this market. And I'm here for it. I think it looks great, especially this frontal and shot. And Jordan made a good point. Jordan says, she said, the sculpted will soften a bit for final production. Definitely think there's excessive wrinkles, but it's intentional because of the final product softening. And that could be true for sure. And we kind of said that too, Jordan, about the Mark III sculpt. A lot of people were like, that looks a little old, but I'm like, I'm hoping, you know, you don't always hope for a sculpt to soften, but I'm hoping with that Mark III sculpt, because the overall profile of the sculpt is beautiful. But if it softens up just a little bit to make them a little bit younger, I think it'll be perfect. So you may be right with this one. With the final product, with them casting from that mold, it may just be like the perfect amount of wrinkling in the face. But man, does he look good. I think the mouth looks great. The scars on the mouth look great. I do kind of prefer a little bit the paint on the face right now, at least on the prototype. I think it looks good, man. I'm really excited. I'm so excited to have them both next to each other so I can kind of compare who did what better. You know, it's going to be great. And I'm really excited to check this one out. And again, guys, I saw that David, you had posed a question in the chat about like, will we be fighting over the sculpted version as well? I'm assuming the sculpted version will be a decent amount easier to get, but who knows, man? Who knows? You know, there's a lot of people out there like me who are kind of scarred by rooted hair. So maybe there'll be a lot of people going for the sculpted, but you know, I've been sculpted, or excuse me, I've been scarred by rooted hair for a long time. So I'm finally coming around with all these new figures coming out of characters that I love. I'm coming around to give it another chance. But you know, if these next few figures, I got a rooted hair InArt figure on pre-order, if these don't impress me, then I'm staying the sculpted route.
Yeah.
But, Mike says, I'm telling you that sculpted hair plus the intensity of that open mouth, it's the shiz. Yeah, it looks great. And guys, you know, the open mouth thing doesn't always work. A lot of times it ends up looking really goofy from all these different companies that do these open mouth sculpts. I think out of all the ones in recent history, I think this is one of the better ones in terms of just them nailing that look without making it look goofy, you know? And again, the tongue is awesome. Yeah. I love that. It's not going to be for everybody, but I love that. And because that's, you know, especially David, us that have the InArt versions, that's a great way to set them apart and create a different scene by having that tongue out. It's just, it's going to be awesome. And
I got a quick question for you, man, because you know how they have the purrs, right? You know, you can move his eyes, the InArt.
Right.
Mine came with some characters. Like typically speaking with Hot Toys, if you can move the eyes, they're straightforward out of the box. But mine came with a slight little smirky
cross-eyed. Yeah,
he was looking a little bit to the right, and I was like, that's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, and I am hoping that most companies kind of adopt how Hot Toys is doing it now with the purrs. That's the one thing, and you guys will see it in the In Art Joker review. I'm going to talk about it in depth, but I'm not a huge fan. And Hot Toys did it for years. That removable back of the head piece. I would like to see maybe In Art and other companies adopt where you can access it from the inside. I just think for an overall product, it just makes it better. But again, both of them look really fantastic.
Yeah.
Jordan said in the current state, it looks like Heath Ledger if he was reprising his role of Joker, if he was still alive, just want some softening to make him younger looking, still looks like him, just older. And that's fair. Again, I do think it's going to soften up a little bit, like you said, with the final product. And I think a lot of us will be very happy. So, Lane, before we move on to Anakin, did you have any additional thoughts on the Joker here?
I just think the Joker looks like it's going to probably be a solid figure. I don't know if it's going to. We'll see if it's worth the price point. I think it's going to be in everything.
Exactly. Yeah. Final product could tell a different story. You never know.
Yeah. I mean, it's just this guy's going to be. Here's what I'll say. Even for the reader, here for the artisan, it is going to be Iron Man money. And it's not a die-cast figure.
Yeah, guys. I mean, I think I would say through Sideshow, we're probably looking at $450 a piece for the rooted versions at bare minimum. I think we're going to be where it's going to be
Wonder
pretty
Woman
high.
was 400, and they
Wonder Woman was 400, and they're calling this DX Artisan. I think we're going to be paying some money for these. So let me go back to JC's account too. Before we move on to the Anakin, I just wanted to show these photos that these are not JC's photos, by the way. Guys with the Anakin. And obviously, guys, you know, when you go to events and stuff, and again, this is the type of stuff that bothers me with rooted hair. You got these little loose strands, and Chris, Collecting Madness, him and I were having a little back and forth about this when the original prototype was shown. I'm like, dude, I don't like those loose hairs. And he's like, well, that's how normal hair is. And I'm like, but I don't like it. I love my
this is supposed to
hair.
be beautiful. It's supposed to look beautiful. We want
it's Hayden Christensen, man.
Well, I can tell you this much. For about a year, because I have the J&D Catwoman statue. The rooted hair for Hathaway's, long, straight hair. I have been fighting for a year, combing and repeatedly trying to do it to try and not have strands popping up going this way or that way or loosey-goosey this way.
Yeah.
Which is on a bigger head sculpt. So in theory, it should be a little bit easier because you could use just like a regular small little comb or something.
There he is. Look.
Go with it.
He comes out.
Yeah. But I have not been able to do it with that thing. And that's a third scale head sculpt to do it. I can't imagine how much pain in the butt a 6 scale would be. Because you got to be using like a little micro thing or something to futz with it.
Raxus says that's exactly why it looks good. Loose strands give it realism. And I totally understand it. Again, it's more of an OCD thing for me. But I will say, guys, holy crap, this sculpt is gorgeous. I've seen some comments about the materials. There's nothing stating that this is real leather. That's definitely like, come on, DX Artisan. You're not going to give us real leather. That's really the main thing with this one that disappointed me. The rest, I'm like, I love it. I absolutely love it. You guys know, again, Anakin is my favorite character of all time in any film. So to see him in this fashion, you guys know, Raxus said it. I was ready to grab this one the moment it was announced. So I had to hunt it down. I wasn't going to take chances with Sideshow personally because this is a beloved character for me. So I'm really excited about this one. I think he looks fantastic. I think the hair color is correct. I think the shape is great overall. And you guys know I've got the Dark Side Anakin, I've got the Clone Wars Anakin, and I have the Light Side Anakin. So you best believe any Anakin that comes out, it's coming home. So this one is definitely really exciting for me. Again, I'm giving rooted hair a chance, guys. With this one, this was your only option. So I'm like, I got to do it. I got to jump in. I got to dive in, see what this wool hair is all about. So I think it looks fantastic. Guys, as it's scrolling, I'm not going to pull up the Sideshow page because we're already looking at them. Anakin is going up August 18th at 9 a.m. PT. If you're in Eastern Standard Time like I am, that is 12 p.m. in the afternoon. Once again, I would recommend preloading like 10 minutes before in the queue just to give yourself a better chance to get a spot in that queue. But I think he looks fantastic, guys. I really have very minimal complaints. Again, the only thing, I had a higher expectation when it comes to the materials. I would have loved to have seen leather on this guy all throughout. That was definitely a disappointment for me, especially because you got these third-party companies for $200. They're putting real leather on figures. So it's like Hot Toys, you're talking about DX Artisan. To me, Artisan is like an upgrade on everything, materials, the wool rooted hair, everything. So that was a bit of disappointment for me. And Thick Bantha Boy, I'll just list out all the figures that everybody has asked me about. Yes, I would get a Jar Jar Binks. Yes, I would get a baby Annie. Yes, I would get a pad. Actually, did pre-order the third-party Padme Amidala, the Queen Amidala. So yeah, I certainly would pick up a Jake Lloyd Anakin for sure. But that's just me. I know a lot of people probably be like, no way, that's a waste of a slot. But David, I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Obviously, the Jokers are really exciting for you, but when it comes to Star Wars, I'm not entirely sure where you stand because we haven't talked about it too much. So I'm curious what your thoughts are on this one.
I'm all about Star. I mean, I've got Star Wars all through here in my glasses.
So you're a big Star Wars guy like I am too.
Oh, dude, yeah, bro. I mean, I'm all into the. It's kind of funny. I grew up in the late 70s, early 80s, and
right.
But that when I revisited the Clone Wars, or when I watched it with my kids, I should say, unbelievable the lore that it's
so
just
good.
It's
so good.
For those that haven't done it and you're fighting it, just stop. It's incredible, especially the last couple of seasons. Yeah. I absolutely love my Clone Wars Anakin. It's badass.
Beautiful.
This is badass. I've got the young Anakin on pre-order. I'm not going to go there here. I mean, it's beautiful. But I love the Clone Wars. I think I don't even want to call it an underrated figure. It's beautifully sculpted. The tailoring's amazing.
It doesn't sell for a lot. It's crazy because it's such a nice figure, but I guess they stocked it so much.
Well, no, I'm all in on Star Wars, man. I mean, I love Star Wars, but this is beautiful. See, aesthetically speaking, I don't really like the robes that are super loose on the Jedis. I like a little bit of I've got Qui-Gon Jinn over there, and I took off his robe because it's so damn loosey-goosey. Yeah. But this is incredible. I mean, congratulations if you secured one.
Yeah. I'm really excited to get it, man. And it's certainly not perfect, but it's Anakin Skywalker. The sculpt is great. If we really break it down, the robe should have been a little bit longer, leather materials, what have you. But for me, again, any Anakin that's well done, I'm all for it. And I totally agree with you. I think they did a beautiful job. And also you bring back up the episode 2 Anakin. I'm really excited for that one because that's like as close to a perfect head sculpt I think Hot Toys has ever gotten. I can't wait to see the final product. I hope it's close to that prototype because that figure is going to be absolutely beautiful. And certainly, I'm sure that I pre-ordered that one day one because I had to have it. But yeah, I'm really excited for this one, man.
Hey, most things, HCH, if it's day one, I assume you have pre-ordered it.
Well, Lane, it depends on what it is. Contrary to Lane's belief in Lane World, I don't buy everything.
Okay, sorry, 95% of everything.
Raxa said, "How can you say this? It's unfair. It's perfect." Hey, look, nothing's perfect, but it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. Nothing has to be perfect as long as you love it. And I love this figure, guys. I'm very excited to see the final product and get it in hand. But Lane, you already kind of hinted at it, but I think this one's something that you're kind of interested in trying for when it goes up on Sideshow.
It's one I've been asked by several people to try and also get it as well. Because they know I
might have to disappoint them, Lane. You may get that rush if you're able to pick one up and it may be coming home, huh?
I think he's cool, but I think the timing for him is not great. It's because I have several figures that I am paying for right now. Like, as much as I like this one, I just pre-ordered recently Tobey Maguire Spider-Man.
Oh, man, that's an expensive one.
Yeah, and well, I got the regular one without the diorama base because I don't ever use diorama bases or anything.
Yeah.
But so if I had to choose between this or getting the Toby, I'm going to get the Toby because I already own an Anakin and there are other options if I have to track him down.
Yeah.
Obviously I had the dark side Anakin at one point, but I sold that guy for a price I couldn't like almost
made a house payment, right? You could have made a house payment with what you sold him.
Yeah. So I think this is a fantastic head sculpt. However, I will say, as you pointed out, if they're using plethora on this, I think that is that does. And I know, guys, you might think this is a stream response, but this almost gives me for this figure an L in some ways Because
Yeah,
if
I
they're
mean, you know,
going to
me
charge
personally, I wouldn't go
3,
that far, but it's rough. It's DX Artisan, right? You're calling it
I know.
Artisan.
He needs to have leather. Like
Yeah.
it needs to be. I did, basically we like kind of talked about a few weeks back, like kind of jokingly. I don't want to hear about Crosshair, a C-level character, having now. I admit it's only a few parts, so the amount they had to do for it.
Well, Indiana
was very
Jones lane, he
minimal.
has a leather jacket, leather whip,
Yeah.
and leather shoes. So it's like,
Yeah.
and that's not DX Artisan. This is
Yeah.
DX Artisan. So as
But
hype drunk as we are for this figure lane, including myself, I have to call that out because that's not DX Artisan to me. They
Well,
have to fix
I'm
that.
using it. I'm using it for a character who's a C-level character who has actual leather as part of his costume.
Right.
Doesn't matter how much they use leather. He's the character you would go, oh, they use pleather, where you wouldn't necessarily go, yeah, ha, ha. But you could also understand because there's not as much concern. This is a 4,100. I get 4,100. Now, do I think there were probably more of these made than Crosshair? Probably. But actually,
and David, funny you bring up Crosshair because David and I were talking about like random figures earlier that just randomly spiked in value. Crosshair selling for like $400 on eBay. It's just that happens randomly here and there. It's so bizarre. I see people trading Crosshair for Carnage, dude.
Yeah. Well, remember, but I remember back in the day, a few years back, the Remnant Trooper. That
Remnant,
was like
and that one kind of tanked recently. The Remnant Trooper was selling for a lot.
Now 240, 250.
The Mud Trooper, that one was selling for like 350, 400 for a bit.
Shore Troopers.
The Shore Troopers, yeah.
The Shore.
And now look at them. We had the Shore Trooper captain sold for all that money. Now look at these Shore Troopers.
Like it still will go for 300 most times and stuff. So from what you originally paid for it, it's quite a bit.
Yeah.
That was like a $200 figure, $215, I think, or something. So it still sells for, but not silly how much it was. Like, a few, like 2.5 years ago, it was selling for a lot more. But this guy, he's a main character. Like we're introducing this line. Like the Joker is new, even though I know they've done other ones. It's been 12 years. So it might as well be just a new figure, for all intents and purposes. This guy, we've had, you were talking about Attack of the Clones. It's mostly the same costume. There are some differences, but it's going to be similar. That this guy should be leather premium. If he's going to probably be somewhere between 340 and 400, somewhere between there.
Yeah, this guy's going to be bare minimum 400, dude. I'm thinking even 450 with the sideshow tax. I'm thinking 450, man.
Yeah,
that's a very similar look to the Clone War. That's very similar.
I think it's paint apps that are better or improved on it.
Chris and I had a big debate about this because I'm still not certain this is 100% a new sculpt. I think it's better paint apps with some tweaks to the sculpt. I don't think it's a completely new resculpted head sculpt.
I agree with you.
Yeah, that's what I see. But is that a bad thing? No, I love the original sculpt.
Oh, dude,
and obviously this looks way better. And Raxus had pointed out like the lips, the shade of the paint on the lips looks much better, and it certainly does. Like I think overall the paint apps are fantastic.
It's definitely improved over all the previous Anakin heads.
Right, it's certainly been tweaked. The paint apps are better. It's definitely better. But yeah, I do want to move on from the Anakin though to get to our last few topics. This next one is definitely really exciting for me. I don't know how many people in the chat or on the panel were excited when they saw this one. No, we already talked about the quarter scale lane, but I'm talking about Rambo, baby. Now, you guys know I think 3.0 has done a couple other versions of Rambo.
That are great.
This is my personal favorite look for Rambo. I love this look for Rambo. I think the seamless body, for the most part, looks pretty good. Obviously, you do have those kind of ugly little visible joints there, but overall, I think this is a really cool figure. It's so funny to me, right? Because 3.0, their Stranger Things line, which I've been collecting ever since it started coming out, was pretty rough. I feel like they really kind of pushed it to the side. And I'm looking at this figure and I'm like, this is easily the best Sylvester Stallone likeness that they've done. The paint apps look pretty damn good. Like when you zoom in, you could see some depth to the paint. Of course, this is a prototype, but it's crazy to me how they kind of pick and choose where to put their time
from
into.
A macho movie 38 years ago.
Right. And Sylvester Stallone himself, Lane, has been putting out really cool figures of himself. Yeah, I mean, some of them have been pretty decent.
Cobra was pretty good.
Yeah, the Cobra's good, and the new loan shark one that he's doing, I'm actually really interested in that one with the dog and everything. But guys, I mean, I don't know if this interests you at all. I'm definitely a big Rambo fan, so I'm certainly interested. And this is my favorite look. I know everybody likes that original Rambo look, but this from Rambo, the second First Blood. This is my favorite look. Love the red bandana with the black. I love the option to remove the shirt and have the scars all over the body. This is badass, man. I mean, David, it seems like you're kind of excited about this one. Would you end up picking this one up, dude?
Dude, I'm so pumped for this, and I'm on board. Like, I missed out on that the Rambo 3, which I liked more than the
the current one that's being offered. Yeah,
this is the look. Now, I will say this, man. Okay, I have the 3-0 Storm Shadow that I do love it, right? But yeah, the bodies leave a little bit to be desired, in my opinion.
Totally agree.
And they don't have anything on the Fison bodies. Like these Fison, I mean, that's why, Hot Toys did what they did. But I'm going to leave the jacket on. This is coming home.
Me too.
This is beautiful. I wouldn't mind swapping the bodies, but I don't know how how everything's like.
Right, with the fitment with the clothes and everything. You know how it gets with Fison bodies sometimes.
Yeah, when I did up this, I'm just going to show you this. When I did this up, I mean, this is incredible. That's the M35, the Fison body. I mean, it came with this
bulk, man. It's just
it was a pain in the ass to get on the outfit, but once you get it on, it looks incredible. And I just wish that I wish 3-0's bodies were a little bit, had more substantial, right? Because I'll tell you what, that the Storm Shadow for 3-0 is, in my opinion, I just like it that much more than the original G.I. Joe from Storm Shadow from Hot Toys. But this is beautiful, dude. It's got to come home.
Yeah, I agree. And honestly, dude, I probably will rock it like this. I love the tank top look. I know you got that visible seam on the body, but it really doesn't bother me that much, only because the detail is there with the body. You got the vein work, you got the musculature in the chest, you got the scars. But yeah, dude, I'm totally on board with this. I hope the final product is close. I will say, David, I've got Stranger Things from 3-0. I've got Game of Thrones figures. I've got Walking Dead stuff. So it's like, after being able to compare all of that stuff, it's like they have the opportunity to perform really well with some of their newer figures because they've done it in the past. The Game of Thrones stuff, great paint apps, incredible detail, and that really, really difficult to do clothing with the Game of Thrones stuff, with the chainmail and stuff, especially. So they're very much capable. And everybody says their 3-0 stuff is incredible. Or excuse me, so the 3-0 stuff. Their Transformer stuff is incredible. Yeah, everybody highly raves about their Transformer stuff. So 3-0 as a company does really solid work. It's just it's hit or miss sometimes, but this looks incredible. This is a totally new sculpt, Chris. It looks really good. I think this is their best Rambo likeness yet. I think they did a great job. Boba says a good looking Bane. Yeah, dude, that body swap. I love the bulk. When you do a Bane, you got to have that bulk. And like, as we were talking about Hot Toys earlier too, Hot Toys really nailed that bulk, and I cannot wait to get that figure, man. Lane, this pose, man, how cool is that?
Dude, Lane, does this one interest you at all? It's like they got a little bit of an issue, and I'm sorry to interrupt.
Skin pinching.
It's the same thing on the Storm Shadow. There's a little bit of a funk between their forearm and the bicep that they just don't have it nailed yet, dude. Sorry, go ahead, Lane.
It looks fantastic. This is, to me, the Rambo explodey Vietnam soldier Rambo, because that is like my favorite. That is maybe my favorite silly 80s action scene, other than when Arnold and like Commando kills all the, ends up in that little like shack for the like keeping up the evil dictator's mansion and stuff, and he just like uses farming tools to kill soldiers and stuff in there for over the top goofiness. And I think this is the most fun Rambo to me, where it is kind of stupid, but it's fun. It's not like kind of like 3 to me, which is almost too dumb, kind of, where it just loses. Like, there's still moments of time in here where there's a little bit of like.
Dude, I was just talking about this,
that and stuff.
The 3s always fail, man. They always do. RoboCop 3 sucked.
Gonna have a good figure though.
Right, RoboCop 3 sucked. Terminator 3 sucked, at least for me. Terminator 3 sucked.
Now, what was worse though? Rise of Skywalker or Last Jedi?
Last
You
Jedi,
know, it's
for sure.
okay.
Jedi.
So
We're not
that's
gonna
one,
get into that in full,
yeah,
but yeah, Last Jedi.
yeah,
for
I
sure.
know, but that's one time. 2 was slightly worse than 3. 3
Yeah.
still failed in that one too, but it looks great. The body's kind of what, like 3-0 are the masters of robots, like whether they're mecha robots, they're transformers, whatever. Those guys got 6 scale for those down.
Yeah.
Fantastic. It's why I'm actually interested in seeing what Hot Toys does with their first kind of robot that has any kind of transformation to it. That Black Panther.
That Black Panther. Yeah.
Because it's probably going to be terrible because it's like the first time they're doing something like that. It's not what they're known for. But this is a cool figure. If you don't have one of the other ones, or you prefer kind of the more over-the-top action movie Rambos versus the first one, where the first one is not an action movie. So if like this was the first one you saw and you went back, you watched First Blood, you're like, wait, like nobody dies practically.
Wow, man, Chris is just everything I say, man. Good thing Chris didn't come on tonight. No, I'm just joking. Chris says I like T3, I like The Last Jedi, I like Scream 3, I like Jurassic 3, I like Revenge. Well, Chris, oh come on, Revenge of the Sith and Return of the Jedi. Those are like, we hold those to a higher standard.
You might have to stick him in. You might have to stick him in the Clockwork Orange things and like, I don't know, do some reprogramming there.
Maybe. Another, and this is just a quick one, guys, just to show you guys stuff that's coming up from 3.0. Another great looking figure. This is Rick Grimes from season 7 of The Walking Dead. I think, again, I mean, the sculpt, I wish I would like to see more. It's a weird angle. It's not 100% Andrew Lincoln from the angle, but overall the figure does look really good. And I have the season 1 Sheriff Rick in my collection. That's a great figure. Very surprising figure when you get it in hand. I love that figure. But definitely excited to check this one out. I think the tailoring looks pretty solid on this one. We don't have any other photos as far as I know right now. So I just wanted to briefly show you what's in the pipeline from 3.0, but definitely really cool.
Their head sculpts are getting better, bro.
They are. And you know, I said this kind of earlier, they've been hit or miss with certain things, but a lot of the Game of Thrones sculpts are really good. Like Brienne was really good. I didn't hate the Jon Snow. It wasn't perfect to Kit Harington, but it wasn't terrible. I think the Tormund Giant's Bane sculpt is really good from Game of Thrones. The season 1 Rick Grimes looks just like Andrew Lincoln. They really captured that chin shape of his without the beard. It looks good. And this sculpt is definitely, I think, an improvement. I would just like to see a bit more because, you know, it's a weird angle. But I'm really digging how the hair looks and how the beard looks especially. And I think his forehead looks really good too, because I've seen in some custom sculpts, they tend to mess up that forehead and it really throws off the look. So I think it looks good, man. I'm excited to check it out. I'm excited to see more. They're
evolving as 1/6. They're doing it. They are stepping their game up, bro.
For sure. I totally agree. But yeah, I just wanted to briefly show that to you guys because I know a lot of people are Walking Dead fans out here. But this next one, guys, has got me really, confused. And I'm sure a lot of you saw it. But we have
no.
So you didn't see it, but I'll tell you about it. So this is, and let me double check.
It's Interstellar?
It is Interstellar. This is Cooper from Interstellar, the main character, Matthew McConaughey. So the interesting thing about this, guys, this is a custom company. This is not an officially licensed figure. And to purchase this through 1/6 Kit, guys, it is $600. $600. You heard me right. So if you purchase through 1/6 Kit, guys, the deposit is $200. So now this is limited to only 170 copies. So it's a limited figure, but does limited always mean worth it? No, it doesn't. I will say there are some good things going for this. I think the suit looks really good. You have your NASA logo and everything on the front. I'm sure this is definitely a base that David likes because it's kind of that circular, very elegant looking design. And I think it looks good there for sure. But $600, guys, this is very expensive. Now, you know, here's the thing. Does it look good? Yes. But I will say, though, the sculpt, not 100% there for me. And I think a lot of people have agreed with that. I'm not huge on the sculpt. But the overall fitment of the suit and everything, great. And I feel like if you're looking for an Interstellar figure, which is a very popular film for a lot of people, it's like one of their favorite films, I could see why a lot of people would be interested in this. But funny enough, which always happens, we've got options. So Present Toys also this morning teased that they're doing an Interstellar figure. So that kind of mixes up the whole thing, right? Because you're like, oh, I'm so tempted to spend $600 because I love this character and there haven't been a lot of figures of them. But Present Toys is going to jump in. Now, is the Present Toys going to look as good as this suit? We don't know. I will show you the tease after this, what we got from Present Toys, but I don't know, guys. Also, like for $600, I would have liked to see if they included the TARS, but they didn't include TARS. So it's like, I can't really personally justify that price.
They're making Joker look cheap in comparison.
Yeah. And it's just, I can't.
Cheaper in comparison.
I'm not trying to hate on it, but it's not officially licensed. And from someone who doesn't buy high-end, expensive custom figures, it just doesn't make sense to me to spend that money. And again, I'm looking at this sculpt, and that's not Matthew McConaughey for me. No. I'm not seeing it. I'm seeing like maybe a glimpse of Matthew McConaughey there, but for $600, guys, I don't know.
Like the CGI movie version of Interstellar with the character, like, you know.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, for $600, you better not have to squint your eyes or have to look at it in a certain.
Exactly.
JC Hong better have done like the sculpt to make it look like that.
I mean, even from front on, like you could see him a little bit in there, but it's not for an unlicensed figure for $600. Again, I know some people are probably screaming like, dude, $600 is cheap for a custom, but it's like, I'm not one of those people that buys those figures. So for me and how I collect, doesn't make sense. I love this movie. I do want a Cooper figure, but I don't. Joshua says Oppenheimer. I haven't actually seen Oppenheimer yet. I'm hoping to see it this weekend. But I can see he says Oppenheimer.
Well, I know I talked about it the other day, earlier this week, about figures we would also like to still see from Dark Knight. Speaking of Cillian Murphy, I would love
another
to see
Scarecrow.
To improve Scarecrow, maybe to help fill out the modern Dark Knight line of figures, since they already have. And
we expected that. Remember Lane when they were talking about the Dark Knight trilogy and doing more figures from that when they announced the Bane? You never know. I mean, I'm sure they are going to pull out more villains. If they're going to do a Joker, why not?
I think everybody, if they were to finish off, would like do one more. I think most people would probably want Ra's al Ghul, though. Liam Neeson.
That's a tough one, dude. I'd probably pick Scarecrow, to be honest with you, only because Hot Toys didn't do a training version of Bruce training with Ra's al Ghul, so it would just kind of be like on his own. Whereas I'd rather have the Scarecrow on his own because he kind of speaks more volumes by himself for me. But either one would be dope. I would buy it, just like David. I'm a big Batman fan, so
Ra's would be great as a 2-pack. Do the Kenji Watanabe Ra's and do Liam Neeson together, like
for
that
sure,
would be perfect.
For sure. 2.0 Lieutenant. I would rather have the Commissioner Gordon. I definitely prefer the suit look, but I wanted a Commissioner Gordon from the Batman, and even third party hasn't touched that one yet. So I'm hoping somebody does. I know Mars Toys is working on all the.
Let's just get the Batman figure out first.
I mean, hopefully soon, Lane. And then finally, guys, of course, I said I was going to show you. This is the battle of the Coopers, after all. Here we go. Present Toys is doing theirs, and if this is actually the figure and not a still that they stole from the movie just to advertise it, I think this looks, the shape overall looks fine. Obviously, I can't really judge it based on this one photo here, but and we were talking about Present Toys earlier in the Facebook group because someone had commented that they were garbage and everybody kind of jumped on them. And I made a comment myself. I'm like, I got the Indiana. Yeah, Jimmy. I figured it probably wasn't the figure. Present Toys is guilty of that. They often take like the they did it with the Ghostbusters too. They just took the Blitzway figures, it looked like, and just put a film over them. But someone had mentioned the quality of Present Toys earlier. I personally don't really have any issues with the stuff I got from them. I just got the Indiana Jones from Present Toys in. The teeth sculpt's a little goofy, but overall it's cool. It's got real leather shoes as well. It's nice. It's nice. And I have the T800 clean version sitting here on my desk. I did a review on that. I definitely really like that figure. I think they did a good job. The sculpt's definitely like a 6 out of 10 without the glasses on, maybe a 5 out of 10 even. But overall, I don't think Present Toys produces bad figures. Of course, with third party, it's going to be hit or miss. They throw out so many different announcements and releases. Like the Nucky Thompson they put out recently, that sculpt is terrible. But, it's going to be like that. It's funny, David, we talked about briefly the good, the bad, the ugly earlier. They're actually doing, they did Blondie, which Sideshow did. I have the Sideshow version on pre-order. I don't know why they haven't shipped it yet. But they also did Tuco, and they did Angel Eyes. So I did pre-order those because I had no idea they did those. And when I started getting a third party, I kind of lost my mind when I saw those. So I'm like, no way did someone actually do a figure of these characters. So I'm excited to have the trio from the good, the bad, the ugly.
Did you guys see the third party announcement for the Humongous? I
did not see that. No.
Yeah, that Lord of the something is called, but it's a Humongous from the Road Warrior, leader of the Wastelanders. Yeah. The mask, like the Jason mask, looking hockey mask, and the hair looked good. For some reason, one of the highlights was the big ass cod piece that they put a focus on, the chainmail cod piece and stuff that the Humongous wears. It was weird. The body kind of looked, but the head sculpt actually with like the hair, because they had like the loose hair on the skull in the back, looked kind of good.
By the way, hello, Facebook user from Mexico. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for checking us out, Mexico. Monica, I think Monica's a little behind. What's up, Monica? Monica said he's talking about the Anakin sculpt. Monica, we kind of talked about this, Monica and I. I'm not saying that it's the same sculpt. I just think that they reuse aspects of the original sculpt, because like when you look at the forehead wrinkles and everything, again, I could be completely crazy and you and Chris could be right, but I guess I'll find out more when that one eventually ships and I can compare it to my existing figures. He said rough, it's literally candles. I'm not sure which one you're talking about. Maybe he's talking about this one that we were just talking about now. But yeah, regardless, guys, again, with third party, I've found in the recent 4 or 5 months I've been collecting third party, it's certainly hit or miss. You're going to see more QC issues. You're going to see more issues with sculpts and things like that. So, but for me and how I collect, I'm not willing to spend $600 on that other figure. So I'm hoping that this one ends up being decent looking. I can't wait to see them actually put out the photos of it, because Jimmy's probably right. This probably is just like a movie still of the character just grayed out just to announce that, because they do that a lot. But I'm definitely excited to check it out. I definitely really am interested in getting a figure of this character. And I think it's cool. I think Present Toys has been doing really cool stuff, and say what you want about some of the figures they put out. I think lately they've been doing a good job. And again, real leather on their figures for a third party price point, I think is really good to see. And, you know, maybe Hot Toys can take notes with their DX Artisan line when third party companies are doing figures that are under $200 with real leather. So, but that's going to wrap it up, guys. Blue Beetle, do I think Hot Toys will do Blue Beetle? I do think they'll do Blue Beetle. They really kind of went all out for the Flash film. I know we saw some stuff that didn't see the light of day, but I think they'll do Blue Beetle. If anything, maybe not the other characters, but they'll just do Blue Beetle. I could see them doing it for sure. But we're wrapping it up here, guys. I do want to close the poll. I noticed I put Copper Frop, so sorry about the misspelling there. But the question was WB 100 Wonder Woman Copper Flop. We were looking at the final product. 61% said cop, 39% said flop. So I know Kaiju Daddy was asking, do people actually want this? It seems like people are pretty interested in it. 61% of people here said they were interested in getting that figure. So definitely a really cool figure. And I'm definitely excited to check it out. I will be doing a review. So whenever that shows up to me, it should be shipping soon. Once I pay Jeremy for it, I'll be getting mine in hand. So guys, as always, check out all of the links in the description to everybody's channel. I know Chris wish he could make it tonight. Sean couldn't make it tonight either. But a big thanks to David for being here. David, it was great to have you. Would love to have you back. I loved hearing some of your opinions on some of this stuff. And it's great to have similar and differing opinions on things, which I think we had a lot of tonight. So definitely awesome. And you're welcome to come back anytime. I
appreciate that. I want to say thank you. And also, I'm definitely interested to see what your take is on the Man with No Name from Sideshow, because I'm such a huge fan. I have that statue, their quarter scale on pre-order.
Yeah.
I'm going to pick that up, but if you can confirm that it's decent, let me know, please, because I've got my eyes on that Josie Wales for sure, man.
Dude, so I'll definitely let you know. I have every single one of the Clint Eastwood 6L figures on pre-order. I have the Dirty Harry in hand. I have the final scene suit on pre-order as well. So I'll definitely let you know. I've had it I have like a final payment on it, and it's been set to charge for over a month. And I guess they're a little behind on manufacturing. So it's been like over a month and it hasn't shipped. So
one thing I wanted to ask you guys, because I did figure you would talk about it, one of the reasons I came on it. I don't know. Did you guys address it? You know, Big Chief Studios going down in a ball of flames.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about Big Chief Studios.
I don't want to go to a whole explanation, but because with the Doctor Who license now is available, and a lot of people, I think in our group maybe there may have been some discussion about it too.
Yeah, we briefly talked about it in the Facebook group for sure. But yeah, guys, if you don't know, Big Chief Studios, recently they did the Peaky Blinders figures. They had the signature editions as well, where they were signed by Cillian Murphy and the actor that played Arthur. Definitely really cool. They have gone under, and unfortunately, if you guys have pre-orders to them, it looks like it's not going to be easy to get your money back. I don't know what's going to happen with that. Not saying it's not going to happen, but
yeah. I was no, because one of the groups I was reading, the guy who had $2,000 worth of pre-orders.
Right. If you have a lot of pre-orders with them, there's no PayPal already told a lot of people, we're sorry, it's beyond 180 days. We can't help you.
God.
So at that point, it comes down to whatever is settled in court, what they decide to give. And even if they do decide to give, they could maybe not give the full amount, maybe just some, that happens a lot.
That's brutal.
It's brutal, man.
That's brutal. Well, again, I want to say thanks. And it was nice to meet you, Lane.
Hey, nice. Thanks, David, and everything.
You'll see Lane everywhere. I'm sure you've already seen him everywhere.
I see him everywhere, man. I watch all the shows, bro.
Yeah. You'll see him everywhere. Oh, yeah, guys, by the way, show Collecting Madness some love, please. He's 7 away from 900 subscribers. He's going for his goal of 1028, a very random goal. He said his next video will be a collection tour. So definitely check that out. And there's a link.
Would it be okay to do a shout out for a
absolutely
program?
Absolutely.
So, hey, guys, if you're not aware, something probably most of you are on Collecting Weekly for Peter Cass and Ian Ashton's show that they do, AFAC, which I was on earlier this afternoon, two Brits who are one of the few podcasts / streams that are for, across the pond and everything. Their 98th show was this week. They will be hitting 100 next month. I have contributed. They will be giving away a figure arts Carnage, Let There Be Carnage figure.
Nice.
They will do it normally on our time, US, it's 3:30 Eastern time, 2:30 Central time. You may want to check out their podcast and stuff. It can be hard. They do have discussion and everything about 6 scale, but they will be doing a giveaway for that. And that guy, even though it's a figure art, it's an 8.5 inch tall figure. It's massive.
Yeah, it's cool. You were showing it to me, Lane. That's a neat figure.
It's an expensive figure. It's an expensive, not Hot Toys figure, but expensive figure. So I just wanted to shout out everybody. You might want to give their show a check out. I wanted to replay. I was on it this afternoon. And, maybe check it out because they are doing a giveaway with that. And, who knows? We always Hot Toys Hotline, always got lots of
for sure.
going on.
This man, all right, guys, this man shows up the last minute before we're about to close out. He's got the belt ready. I'm going to unmute him. Chris, you got to unmute yourself. Big Dog Pound was here. You got to unmute yourself, Chris.
Bro, I had to do it for Big Dog Pound. I felt way too bad. I'll be here for like a couple minutes. It's at the end. We got to do it right.
All right, here we go. We're gonna pull him up. Chris is ready to go. Big Dog Pound, I told you he'd be here. I didn't think it was possible, but here he is.
The UPS guy. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the end of the night. Sorry I couldn't make it earlier, but that doesn't mean we all stop collecting, right? Just because it's the end of the show, we stop collecting. No, just like I don't stop delivering them hot toys. Whoa!
Look, there he is. He's still here, Chris. He was still here to hear it. But yeah, and also, Chris, Tremble Dust subbed to you, man. So you're 1 closer. I don't know how many people went and subbed you, but you're 1 closer.
Oh, yeah.
But yes, guys,
Appreciate
check out Collecting Weekly for that giveaway. And also, I feel like I should tell you guys what I'm giving away, courtesy of Ash, Chase, and Violet. Guys, we're giving away a quarter scale NECA Raphael Ninja Turtle. So
nice.
Giant piece. As I was filming the video for the giveaway, I'm like, I kind of want this, but I can't have it because it's for you guys. So if you want a chance to win a quarter scale NECA Ninja Turtle, great timing, right? With the new Ninja Turtle cartoon animation film in theaters right now. So I will be posting that video this weekend. I already filmed it. It's already edited. I just have to post it up. So you're going to have a chance to win a quarter scale NECA Ninja Turtle. So definitely really cool to add to your collection, whoever wins that. Josh says, let's go. JB says, Chris, what's up, by the way, JB? But yeah, guys, and I also do have a review film for the Trick or Treat Studios Sam. So if you guys are a fan of Trick or Treat, a very cult classic horror film at this point. Not everybody's seen it, but those who have love it, including myself. Yeah, it's a great film. So really excited to put that review out because that is a figure I've been waiting for quite a while. I pre-ordered that one day one, Lane. That was a day one pre-order for me because I really wanted that figure. So I will be posting that this weekend as well. And yes, guys, check out the links to Sean, the Hot Toys Nightmare, Ryan from Mr. Mom Collectibles, both who could not make it tonight, but they're here in spirit, and I'm sure we'll see them next week. But
and I'll
Chris,
try to be on.
Yeah, Chris, I mean, you
that.
totally bailed on us. David's debut on the channel. He was really looking forward to having you here. And
Yeah, man.
Yeah, how
Boy,
dare
It was
you.
good hearing his thoughts. What I did
How
here.
dare-
So
yeah,
good to
dude,
see you first
yeah.
time.
It was great to have David on. David, once again, you're welcome back anytime. I'd love to
Yeah,
have
all
you.
I know is my wife appreciates it so much when the UPS truck shows up, man.
There you
She's like,
go.
"Not
So
again,
shout out to
holy-"
Chris and his
Well,
fellow
see,
Golden Shield.
you could let it be worse. You could,
Yeah, dude,
you know,
that's it right there.
you could just tell her it could be worse. I could be a third scale statue collector. Of course,
Yeah,
she might
yeah.
have,
It could always
worse in
be
my
worse,
end.
right, guys? We have our justifications for our significant others. It could always be worse. I could buy 20 figures a week instead of 3, you know, so anything could happen. Anything could happen.
You could be a life size Iron Man statue collector,
Right, or you could have this
Oh,
giant
no. That looks
dragon
bad.
here. Dude, he
bro.
sent me a picture of it earlier. It's badass, man.
dude.
Yeah,
that's
I want to
cool.
drag. I wanted Drogon, but like so hard to find. I'm
Yeah, that
still gonna
3-0.
be on
It was
the hunt for
expensive
it.
too, right? That was an expensive.
Dude,
If you're looking
I
for
will pay it.
something,
I still want it.
if you want a dragon that's cool, that PCS Tiamat is amazing.
I'm honestly hoping
That's the
3-0
PCS
does
right
another
there.
one for House
Oh, yeah.
of Dragons.
Yeah.
And maybe
Yeah.
I could cop one of those.
Dude, if they did Caraxes in 6 scale, I'd probably buy it. I'd
Yeah.
probably
Hell
buy
yeah,
Caraxes.
bro.
That's
Dude,
the PCS cloth from Dungeons and Dragons. And I got all the Blizzard statues, you know, with World of Warcraft and all that stuff. But I tell you what we talked about it earlier, just with the prices of statues and the shipping, I'm unless it's just freaking phenomenal.
and
I'm
you have
out.
to have it.
I'm
You
out.
get tapped out, man. Like I said, I don't know if I could do it. It's just so and then you have, you know, and you would know more than I know. A lot of people said like oftentimes they'll have issues with it showing up and little tiny pieces are broken off, and that's just part of the hobby. So that's another whole other thing I got to worry about with the polystone stuff is you got to worry about it breaking on you and shipping. So it's a whole thing, but there's no denying some of those statues are absolutely beautiful. I'll tell you ones that I really saw and I was so close to buying them. Those Godzilla busts that they did where I think it was Prime
XM
1.
Studios?
Yeah, was it XM Studios? It was the bust, and then in the back it had a scene in the back of it. Dude, that King Kong with Kong holding up the
No,
axe.
that's Prime 1.
That is Prime 1. Okay, dude, those
things are monstrous, dude.
beautiful
They looked
pieces.
great. Yeah.
Beautiful. So there's some statues. I'm like, damn, that's awesome. Some
Well,
the
I know,
RoboCop
right?
stuff they've been doing. I'm tempted. I'm like,
there
no, I
was
can't.
There was one. I thought it was actually quarter scale, not as big as those, but they did the burning Godzilla.
Yeah,
It wasn't Prime 1, but like it was a regular quarter scale. It was like I don't know, $1,500, but it was still relatively tall. Just a regular one.
yeah.
And then there was one with the big Mothra wings that was like 40 inches tall at the top of the wings.
That's absurd, dude. 40 inches tall. I'm over here trying to fit these vehicles. I told Dave before I started the stream, I just got my tumbler. You guys know I got the DeLorean. I did my review on the DeLorean. These vehicles, man, that's my statue space right there. And then I've got the 2.0, if you will, 89 Batmobile in pre-order. I've got the permanent shelf space reserved for whenever Hot Toys decides to announce that 2022 Batmobile. So, you know, I'm vehicle crazy, so I gotta
You got the
make
bark coming?
sacrifices somewhere. You said what?
You got the bark coming?
I do have both barks on order.
Same
Dude,
here.
I'm all in on the Star Wars vehicles. Right now in my collection, I've got the Anakin with Stap. I've got the you can see I got the Maul Sith speeder above me.
Yeah.
So I'm all in. I've got both speeders. I've got the Return of the Jedi speeder bike. I've got the Blurg. That's kind of a vehicle in a way, you know.
You have to admit, dude, when you're collecting, you got statues. When that first vehicle shows up from Hot Toys, you're like,
holy shit,
smokes,
dude.
Yeah.
And then so I got Chris and I got the DeLorean. That's true. Chris and I got the DeLorean. That was I saw the box, dude. But Chris and I got the DeLorean, and we were both like, holy shit. And then I'm like, the tumbler's like, what's up? The tumbler shows up. The box is like considerably wider, and I'm like, damn. So I can only imagine you statue guys collecting these crazy statues that come in multiple boxes because they have multiple set pieces. It's insane, man. It really is. And I keep all my boxes, so my attic is like, please stop. You know what I mean? So yeah, I save all my stuff.
Trust me, if you ever want to get into something bad, get into Bayverse Transformer Prime 1 statues, and then you will be truly truly in the tales of woe and regret.
I think I'm good, Lane. The most I would consider is like one of the premium deluxe.
I'm gonna do the
3.0.
premium scale Transformers.
Yeah, like those are really cool. I got to be honest with you. I love the Last Night Optimus Prime. I love the sword and everything, and I love the look. So I would definitely consider getting that one. And I was really hoping. I was kind of disappointed there weren't enough options for a Optimus Primal in his beast form. Most of the companies went with the transformed version, which is cool, but I love like
there's a company they showed at China Joy at the Chinacon.
The statue. Yeah, I saw it. It was beautiful.
Well, no, there was one that it was actually transformed. It was a big ass figure, basically.
Yeah,
quarter scale.
That's cool. That's cool. I did see a statue of him in his beast form. He was like kind of hunched over, and I'm like, that's what I wanted in 6 scale.
That's a figure.
Yeah.
It's not a statue; it's a figure. It transforms.
Cool. Oh, really? I didn't know that. Sounds like it's going to transform your wallet. That's what it sounds like.
That's what it sounds like. That's like $1,500.
It's massive. Yeah, I mean, but yeah. So, Chris, did you have any additional comments on anything we talked about tonight? Since you missed out on, I saw you roasting me here in the chat. I'm like, I'm about to mute.
No, you were trying to talk about stuff while I wasn't here.
Well,
couldn't even defend anything, bro.
Whose fault is that, man? You're the one that had to be the hero today, helping everybody on their routes with UPS, Yeah, you had to be the hero. So, but no, all jokes aside, Chris, did you have any additional comments before we close out the stream tonight? By the way, Chris, congrats on almost 900. Hopefully.
Yeah, bro.
Oh, Yopack figure. That's the figure you're talking about, Lane. Yopack.
I got that goal of 1,028 by December because I'm turning 20. So I just figured that's a cool number to go for to celebrate.
That's why it makes sense. But guys, definitely again, check out Collecting Madness.
In general, like I'm celebrating, but like, yeah.
Right. So 1,000 guys, he doesn't care completely.
And my next video is going to be a collection tour.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Chris was telling me I need to do my collection tour sooner than later, but I'm a perfectionist, so everything has to be where I want it, and it's just never going to be that way.
I keep telling him, guys, chats, back me up on this. Like, the collection is ever growing, it's ever changing. Like, you won't ever have it the way you want it because a new piece will come in. You'll want to change it. That's why there's so many collections.
Maybe one day I'll bust out the camera and film my collection. Oh, YOLO pack. Okay. Well, hey, I wouldn't.
We've been waiting, bro. You're well over 1,000. Like, give us a collection tour.
Maybe you've seen it. You've got the personal collection tour. You've seen it in person, but yeah. We're going to close it out, guys. Just over 2 hours and 15 minutes. Once again, everybody in the chat and all the moderators, thank you so much, guys. Great stream tonight. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Once again, thank you so much to David, Chris for popping at the very end, and Lane making the surprise visit because, Lane, we did not expect you tonight. But I'm glad that you came through. Yeah, JB says tour. I'll do it eventually. You can see, guys, I got this all needs to go. I'm still like working on my basement setup. I need to do wall shelves and everything. So that's why this is all here. I look like a hoarder right now, I guess, because I kind of am. But thank you, Boba. Thanks. And Boba, once again, dude, if you're in the streaming game, dude, we might have to bring you in because you're one of my favorite guys to hang out with in chat. So definitely hit me up somewhere if you want to hop on the stream sometime. And once again, Dave, we'd love to have you back anytime. You're always welcome, my friend. Maybe I'll just start sending you the link. And if you want to pop in, I'd love to have you back on.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely. And then Lane, thank you so much for popping in once again, dude. And Chris, thank you so much for making it here at the end. But that's all we got for you guys. Once again, giveaway will be going up soon on the channel. Try to win yourself a quarter scale NECA Ninja Turtle courtesy of Ash, Chase, and Violet. Thank you so much, guys, for contributing that. I very much appreciate it. And as always, guys, head on over to the Hot Toys Hotline Facebook group. I can't believe we have almost 500 members in there. The group just kind of took off the past couple of months. We're having a lot of fun over there in the group chat. Every time something new drops, I'm like, all right, who's going to be in the chat talking? Everybody's in the chat talking. So it's really fun to follow all the new stuff, chatting about it instantly when it comes through. So if you guys want to talk about stuff right when it drops, all the news, it's going to be posted in there. And also, guys, the Discord. I did notice now on YouTube, if you go to my YouTube page, all of my links are now clickable from the main banner section. So the Discord, if you want to join the Star Wars Memorabilia and Lore Discord, Instagram, all that stuff is on there as well as in the description. So
yeah, it used to be clickable, but it also had the logo and it was much cleaner. Now the links just look.
Yeah, and it didn't really work on mobile. Now it works on mobile though. Yeah, it used to on desktop.
So that's why then desktop.
Yeah, it didn't work on mobile. Yeah, it didn't work on mobile before. But and there's a link. Thank you so much, OG. Once again, thank you so much to everybody who hung out with the chat tonight, and also all of our moderators for moderating the chat. I very much appreciate that. But that's all we got for you guys. Have an awesome weekend if I don't talk to you. And of course, we'll see you next week. So have a good one, guys. Take care, and we will see you next week.